Please, we'll be starting at exactly 6:35. The session will start exactly 6:35. Thank you. Please, we'll be starting at exactly 6:35. The session will start exactly 6:35.
Okay. I believe my screen is visible.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
You're all welcome.
Okay, so it's exactly 6:35, and we will be starting. So I would want to call on Madam Abigail Dazi to pray with us before we start this evening's session. So, Madam Abigail, if you can hear me, kindly unmute and give us the opening prayer. Hello, Madam Abigail. Okay. It appears she cannot hear me. So I'll call on Uncle Johnson. Uncle Johnson, if you can hear me, kindly unmute and give us the opening prayer.
Thank you, Uncle Ato. Shall we pray? Gracious Father, we want to thank you for this evening. We thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to gather as a family, even to have a session with our students. Indeed, Lord, your grace has brought us this far. We pray and ask for your presence. Lord, may this session be fruitful. And Lord, we pray that each and every one that will join this session shall be blessed. We ask those who are having challenges to join, Lord, to grant them the grace and the ability to join. That at the end of the session, praise and glory will be yours. We thank you, Lord, and we bless you in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Thank you, Uncle Johnson, for the opening prayer. On behalf of Pros Training Solutions, I welcome all of you to this evening's Citg pre-tuition orientation session for the February 2026 exam date. I will be your moderator for this evening session. Our lead tutor, Boss Bill Cobby, will be taking us through the major part of this evening's session. We also have a resource person from the Institute to walk us through issues regarding exemptions and how to register as a student of the Chartered Institute of Taxation, Ghana. At some point, there will be some other activities. So please enjoy your ride with us this evening, and it will be a great session. So on this note, I want to invite our lead tutor, Boss Bill Cobby, to take over as we roll out our CITG pre-tuition orientation for the February 2026 diet. Boss Bill, if you can hear me, kindly take over at this point.
Okay, thank you for the word so sweet, EA. So you are all welcome to our CITG orientation for the February 2026 exam. Now, CITG is a stepping stone, okay, for all aspiring tax practitioners. Now, tax is actually the big thing in Ghana this time, and henceforth, tax will be the biggest thing. All right. We are all striving to make the tax system a better one for everyone. Now, in this orientation, we will cover a few things. We will look at why the CIT qualification, the various exemptions, and the courses, the levels, how to register with the institute, which will be covered by our resource person. We will also look at study materials, how to get them, your strategy to succeed, various study tools, and why Prof Training Solutions, what we stand to give out to people. Then we will have a brief of all the other courses and then a Q&A session. So basically, we wouldn't take much of your time, but this is what we will be going through for the whole session. Okay, so why should you go for the CIT qualification? Now, in our various laws, the Revenue Administration Act, specifically Section 18 and Section 19, and also the Chartered Institute of Taxation Act, you have to be an approved tax practitioner or an approved tax consultant to practice tax in Ghana. And the premier professional body for certifying you or approving you to become that approved tax professional is the Chartered Institute of Taxation Ghana. Now, the institute actually builds credibility and recognition in tax practice. So if you want to practice tax in Ghana, it is the go-to and you need the qualification. Okay, it expands career opportunities in tax, accounting, finance, and policy. So one thing people must understand is that when it comes to accounting, accounting is worldwide, but tax is jurisdictional. Okay, you can do ACCA, you can do SEMA, you can do oil, and you can do anything. But if you come to Ghana, you do what the Ghanaians do. You must learn Ghana tax. It doesn't matter how you have mastered every aspect of finance. If you come to Ghana and you want to work in finance and make the name, you need tax because you can't do away with tax. There's an adage that says there are two things that are certain in life. What are they? Death and taxes. You can't do away with taxes. Okay, so you need knowledge in taxes, and CITG provides you that. Okay, and gives you better career opportunities. There's high demand for skilled tax experts in the digital economy now. Because the time is short, I would have showed you how tax experts are making a lot of money in the digital economy. There are maybe subsequent trainings we will do that. There are various freelancing platforms, another way where tax practitioners don't need to set up firms. They can start making money with whatever they learn as soon as possible. Now, GRA is after small businesses. It's an avenue for you to make a lot of money. Okay, and not necessarily about the money alone, but also making an impact in the society. You see, we need to keep educating people about taxes. Some people don't see why they have to pay taxes or why they have to know about taxes. Is it not the government's work? But we all have a role to play. All right. Now, as I told you, there's very high demand for tax experts. And as I said earlier, tax is the next big thing in Ghana. And even worldwide, tax is a big thing. You know, tax is jurisdictional, as I told you, and every government depends on taxes. So why not the CIT qualification? So I would also want to invite our resource person to also tell us a bit about why the CIT qualification and developments that are coming in that may require you to go for the CIT qualification. So, if you can kindly invite Mr. Stephen now.
Thank you, Boss Pio, for that powerful introduction. At this point, I have the singular honor to invite our resource person for this evening session in the person of Mr. Stephen. Boss, good evening.
Good evening, good evening. How are we all?
We are doing very well. Yourself?
I'm doing great.
Great. The floor is yours.
Okay. So my name is Stephen, as mentioned earlier, and I am the head of program for the Chartered Institute of Taxation. So most of program like the exams, conferences, and other stuff are under my jurisdiction. And then in terms of basically anything that has to do with programs of the institute. So I'll start from the institute itself. The institute has been in existence more than 30 years, and we have an act, that's Act 916, that regulates anything taxation, the training, and everything about tax in Ghana now. Our office is at the UPSA campus. We are on the campus inside the Reverend J.J. Mate block, the first floor. That is our office. In case you need anything and you need a contact, my number, if you ask Bill, he can give you my number. Anything at all you can just ask me, I'll respond to you. Secondly, the institute run the exam twice in every year. So we have the February session and then the August session. Basically every 6 months. Now our exam timetable is such a way that the date doesn't change. It is the first Monday in February to the next Monday. So those who are writing professional level, which are 6 papers, they write Monday, Tuesday, every day one paper, every day one paper. Those who are in final one, they write Monday, they write on the Thursday and the next Monday. Those in final two do say they write on Wednesday, Friday, and Monday. But those who are writing professional write every day one paper. Now the courses we have 12 courses. The first level is called professional level. We have 6 papers there. Most of the papers there are mostly academic papers, with the exception of indirect taxation. The rest are mostly public sector economics and finance, income taxation, accounting and finance, indirect taxation, revenue and business law, and then strategy and governance. When you come with professional qualification, we move you to a different place. So when you come with the academic qualification, we start from that point before you move to final one. Those that may come with professional qualification like ICA, ACCA, IMA, Ghana Bar Association, and the like, those people start from final one straight. So they get exempted from the first 6 papers. Now, there's no exemption at the final one level except those who did masters in taxation from Pentecost University. They have exemption from the first 6 papers plus tax audit in final one and international taxation in final one. They only write oil and gas and they move to final 2. That is peculiar to only holders of masters in taxation from Pentecost University. Now, when it comes to the exemption policy, those with the academic qualification will grant you the exemption based on the transcripts you produce. So, like somebody may produce certificate from KUST in accounting and finance. Another one may produce from Cape Coast, University of Cape Coast, Winneba, University of Ghana. The courses differ, the details differ. So we don't normally rely on one to grant exemption. Mind you, that level, the exemption is discretionary. So when you bring it, you look at what you did there compared to what we have. you may end up getting about 4, 5, 2, sometimes 1. So that is it for the exemption and for the academic qualification. Now, if you have professional qualification like the CIMA, ICA, ACC, and the rest, you move straight to final one and start writing from there. Now, the rules in writing the exams are that you need to finish one level before you move to the next level. So let's assume you have one paper in final one. You can't add it to any paper in final two. You need to finish that particular paper before you move to the next level to go and write. That is the rule. Now, the next rule, which we have to pay attention to, is the final two session. Those who are moving to final two. Now, this is the rule. For the first time you are coming to write the 3 papers, you must register all the 3 papers and sit for them. Even if you prepare for only one, you must register the 3 and come and write the one you wish to write. However, if you pass one paper out of the 3, we will credit you and you'll be left with 2. The next time you are registering, you need to register for the 2. You can't register for only one. You need to register for the 2 remaining papers and come and write. That is how the rule. You can't register for one. You need to register for the number of papers you are supposed to register for, or which is outstanding in your name or in your portal. So the registration aspect, this is the rule for only final 2. For final 1, you can decide to register for one paper and write. Professional, you can do C. You can register any paper at all and write. You want to write all the 6 at a go, no problem, depending on your strength. So that is that for the rules governing registering for the exam. Now, I have to go back to student registration itself. Now, the process is that you go to the website. For now, we are doing manual registration for studentship. So you go to our website, which is www.taxghana.org. The org is ORG, short form of organization. www.taxghana.org. You download student registration form and the exemption form. All the requirements you need are on the form. So when you get there, you attach all the documents we need. And if you are closer to the office, you deliver to us. If you are far away from the office, like those outside Accra, then you will have to fill the form with a black pen so that when we print it out, the printout will be okay. So you fill with a black pen and then you send it to the email address on the form. And you attach everything, all the requirements, you scan and send everything to us. To go through a process of registration, the account where you pay to, the amount, everything is there. The registration is 600 cedis. That's registration is 300, annual subscription 300, making 600. Then the exemption fee is 500 cedis per paper. So if we give you 2 exemptions, we give you 3, you multiply by 5. If you are coming with ICA, ACCA, then automatically you'll be getting 6 exemptions. So that's 500 times 6, making 3,000. So the initial payment will be 3,600. That is the registration process. Then, when we receive the document and everything is okay, it is forwarded to the registrar for approval. After the approval, a student number is generated for you. And we send that letter to you indicating your student number, the level you are writing for, the exemption will be granted, all will be stated in the letter signed by the registrar. It will be sent to you through your mail you provided. Then you can subsequently pass through the office on the UPSA campus and pick the hard copy. Or if you want it delivered to you at a fee, you call a courier service, then they deliver it to you. So that is the aspect of the student registration. After we have generated the student number, a portal is created for you by the institute. So it is upon that creation that you can now register for exams. Right. Now the registration for exam is done online. And for now, payment is done only through Momo, and the payment is embedded in the registration form. So if you want to register after you've been given the student number, you just go to our website, you click on exams. Exams will open for you. Then they will ask you to enter your student number and your email address. As soon as you enter your student number and the email address you provided on the form you sent to us, the system will open for you. You type your details, the paper you want to write, the level you choose, the paper you want to write, you submit. The moment you submit, the fee aspect will pop up. They will ask you which network are you using to pay. You select, if it's MTN, you select the MTN, you enter the MTN number, and then you submit. It will take you through the process till you make the payment. After they've taken the money from your account, you click on confirm. Within some few seconds on the system, you see that successfully registered for exam. Then a message will be sent to your email address or your telephone as confirmation. So that is the student registration all the way to exams process. This is for now. Now the centers we use to write the exams, we have Kumasi, which is Baptist University College. Those around Kumasi, it is close to the Kumasi Polytechnic. Then we have Zenith University College, which is for the people in Accra, behind the trade fair, Accra. Then we have Poly, that's the third center. Now I've been tasked with the mandate to open a center for the institute in Tamale. So there's a possibility the next exam, I'll not even say possibility, if God permits, the next exam will be writing in Tamale. Then we'll be writing another one in Takrady, but the Takrady center is yet to be confirmed. But for now, I think I can assure everybody that we'll be writing in Accra, Zenith College, Kumasi Baptist University College, Poly, Tamale Poly, and then Takrady. So these are the centers. Now, if you want to, after you've been registered as a student, we open registration for exams from first week in October all the way to 31st December. So you have about 3 months to go onto the portal and register at any time you want, in the night, anytime you wish, from 1st October all the way to 31st December. You are at liberty to register. However, when we enter 2026, from 1st January of 2026 to 4th, 12th, to the 12th of January, you can still register for exam. But this one will come with a penalty. It will come with a penalty of about 75% penalty per paper. So I wish that before that time, everybody must take advantage of the 3-month registration period to register so you don't go and pay penalty again for registration. So, Bill Kobe, I think I'll end it here for now. And if there's any question and answers, I may come in. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Na. Could you please confirm the penalty for late registration for exams?
Yes, it's 25% per paper.
Okay, 25% of the cost of the paper.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Stephen. Now, Boss Bill, would you want us to take questions from our audience at this point, or would defer that to the end of the session?
Okay, I think because maybe Stephen may have other things to do, we can take questions from the audience, just quick questions, so that he can proceed with his other activities he may have for the day.
Okay, so colleagues, please, if you have any question on the presentation by Mr. Stephen Na, just use the hand raise button and I will call you and give you the opportunity to ask your question. Mr. iPhone, kindly unmute.
Hello, good
and
evening.
ask your
Good
question.
evening. Mohammed, my name is Mohammed Isipo.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question for Mr. Na.
Okay.
If you can tell us the working days and hours of the institute, whether they work on Saturdays or Sunday, if you can confirm that. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I'll take another question so that he will answer them together. Mr. Idrisu Smiler.
Hello.
Yes, kindly go
Yeah,
proceed with the question.
I need clarification on the registration. I intend to write 2026, and I'm here to do my registration. And I think if I register now, I'll be paying subscription for 2025. So I intend to do my registration next year. And if I go into next year to register for the exam, I'll be paying penalty. I would want the clarification on that.
Okay, thank you. I think Mr. Stephen now would address these two questions. So, Mr. Stephen now.
If you can remind me the first one.
Hello, Mr. iPhone.
Yes, working days and hours of the institute, please.
Okay.
Okay. So we work on Mondays to Fridays, 8:30 to 5 p.m. That is the working hours. Saturday, we don't work on Saturday. We rather coordinate other activities. Then the second one that has to do with the time of registration. Technically, there's no deadline for registration. You can register as a student at any time. But if you want to write exams, then deadline will set in. Now, if you want to write in Citg, the rule is that by 31st of this year, you should have been a student one, and you should have registered for the exam before you can write for the next year, because we need 1 whole month to plan the venue, what and what. If we need extra rooms to make those arrangements, if we need extra vigilators, if all those things need 1 month to do that. So that is where we set it at that level. Now, you can also register in January if you want to dodge the subscription. But the danger is that we can register you and pay the subscription January and register for the exam, but we come with a penalty of each paper. Calculation of the penalty paper, and then compare which one is okay. The penalty on each paper, if it's 3 papers, if it's 6 papers, and 25, add them and see, compare it to the 300 you paid this year, which one is higher, then you can do the rest. For me, I will suggest you do it before the deadline, the penalty setting.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Stephen, now for that response. Yes, Kwame, I can see your hand. Kindly unmute and ask your question, Kwame.
Yes, so my question is if Mr. Na can help me with that. So I want to find out why the institution website, when you go, you will not see like past questions for us to also try, like other institutions like ICA and those. ICA, when you go, you see past questions of the previous exams posted there. Then for students to also have access to. But with CIT, you don't see such. I think it's only 2020, August and February that is there. That is my first question. And my second question is, let's say somebody in final level 1, or let's say final level 1 or professional level, let's say you've written the rest, but let's say we have our standing paper at final level 1 or professional level that you also want to you're about to write, then can you decide to write the final level 1 addition to the professional level, than the starting paper at professional level plus the final level 1 3 papers, if that is possible? Let's say, or let's say if you have a standing paper in final level 1 and you want to sit, can you add that paper to the final level 2 papers in case you are in final level 1, you want to write in final level 2, whilst you have maybe one paper standing at the final level 1? Please, I don't know if my second question is clear.
Okay, so Mr. Stephen, now Kwame's question in twofold. The first one is he wants to find out why we don't have past questions on the Institute's website. And number two, assuming you are left with just a paper at, let's say, the professional level, can you add that to final level 1 papers and write? There's a similar question on that in the chat box, so I'm sure your response will address that as well.
Thank you. So thank you for the question. Now I'll answer the second one first. As I mentioned earlier, I think he joined a little bit late. But when I started, I mentioned that for now, you can't add a paper in one level to another level. You need to complete one level before you can move to the next level. These are the rules for now. So when you go to the student portal to register, when you ask you which level are you selecting, you select professional and you select the papers and do. You can't go back and select another level again. That's the first one. Now the second one that has to do with the past question and solution. Actually, yes, it's supposed to be on the website, but we have procured a new website, designed it, uploaded all these things behind the scenes, and we have not finished yet. We want to make sure everything test run, everything is done before we bring it live. That particular one has all these things, the past questions and examiners report and all those things are there. So when it's ready, subsequently they'll be seeing all those things. So for now, we plead that we manage with what we have so far. So far we print the questions and answers in the office, and then they have the question and solution by sitting. So the February one, the question and the solution. So the August one we just finished. We are collecting the examiner's report to print another one. However, it is at a small fee at the office that if you want, even if you are not close, we can do and the dispatch rather send it to you. Or if you are far away, sometimes those in the north, those in Kumasi, Takoradi, we normally go to the VIP station and then we send it to them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Stephen, any timelines on when the new website will be rolled out?
Yes, so in terms of timeline, I am in a fix. This is the reason. You know, we are a quasi-government institution. So when the new government assumed power, there was a letter that all councils must be dissolved immediately. So our council was dissolved. Up to now, we are now chasing to get a council to take some major decisions that needs council's backing. So all those things will go into council. So when it gets council, they will take it out from there, then they will inform us about those things. But we are just working behind the scenes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, please. Quick one. So with the past questions, can we know the cost, maybe in case we need some?
Okay. So now, for those who want to do professional, we put almost paper 6, that's strategy and governance, indirect taxation, income taxation. We bind it to one, which goes for 150 cities, all the 3 papers in one, for various cities from 2014 all the way. Then for final one, if they are delivering to you the set, paper 7, paper 8, paper 9 is 300 cedis. If you walk into the office, it's 250 cedis for the set. The same thing for the final two.
Okay. I have two participants who have raised their hand. I have a
sorry, boss.
Edu
Sorry, boss. Let me worry, Mr. Nasmoy. Hello.
Hello, Kwame.
Yes, please. So, regarding the final level one, concerning the final level one past questions, I didn't get that side clear. If you can elaborate on that for me again.
Yeah, so I'm saying that the final level one, if you come to the office, you want to buy just tax audit and go, we'll sell one to you at 100 cedis. But if you want to buy the 3 sets, final paper 1, paper 7, paper 8, paper 9, is 250 cedis for the 3. But if you want us to deliver to you, including the delivery cost within Accra, it is 300 cedis.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Jude Edufogio, kindly unmute and ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Stephen, please can you come clear with the examination registration and the student registration? Then the fact that you mentioned that center will be established here in Takoradi. Can I get more information about that, please? Thank you very much.
Can I answer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the registration as a student, as I mentioned, when you go to the website and you download a student registration form and the exemption form, you get the form there. All the requirements are on the form. When you download the form, you see everything we need, passport size picture, all those things are on the form. And the fee you pay is 300 cedis registration, 300 cedis subscription, making 600. Then if you present your transcript and we have to grant you some exemption, every exemption is 500 cedis per paper. So if you get 4, if you get 6, if you get 8, you multiply by 500, then you pay. So that is the registration aspect. You come to the office, you can either deliver yourself, you use a courier, or you send it through the mail. And I will say that if you want to send it through the mail, then you have to fill it with a black pen so that when we print it out, the outcome will be clear. Especially that has to do with the email, because if you make one mistake with the email, your portal created may be wrong. So that's the registration aspect. The payment platform, everything is on the form. The bank and how to pay, everything is on the form. Then the exam too, the same process. After you've gotten your student number, that is where you go to the website, click on exams to open, ask you to enter your student number and your email address. Then the rest is something you just be type and be following to take you through all the way to the payment. Just that for now, you can only pay it home. You can pay with card though, but sometimes Visa card delays. So I advise that almost everybody should try and pay with home. So that is the registration aspect. If you can remind me the second question again.
Boss, can you repeat your second question for Mr. Na?
Yeah, I think it has to do with the Takoradi Center. So, like I said, the Takoradi have been tasked to get the center there. I am talking to a rep there. He's giving me some different, say about 3 different places where I have to go personally for us to go and visit the place so that I can mention the center. And when it is ready, we will put the center on the student WhatsApp platform. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, I've forgotten to mention the student WhatsApp platform. We have a WhatsApp platform for all students. So this is what I'm going to do. All of you who register with Boss Bill, you send your WhatsApp numbers and your names to Boss Bill. You forward all to me, then I'll add you to the student WhatsApp platform. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. So, colleagues, if you are not on the CITG WhatsApp page, kindly forward your numbers to us. We'll compile it and share it with Mr. Stephen Na so that he can add you to the CITG WhatsApp page.
Okay, that's fine. Mr. Stephen Na, I have one final question for you. If you would say, what do you think is new developments that are coming that you will urge people to register and become chartered tax practitioners? Why do you think they should register with the institute and become chartered tax practitioners as soon as possible? That's my last and final question for you.
Okay. So normally, I'll say tax is not now. Almost everybody who does accounting still come to us to do the tax because almost everything you do has an effect on tax.
Okay. I think now tax is the big thing, the biggest thing
That's
so
one.
far.
Two, they are not, you say that, yes, maybe tax like the Ali Nasia, Dominic Nav, and even the current Commissioner General, they are all CITG members. Now, because we realize that the economy or multinationals or organizations need the tax experts, we have decided to model our courses to help the industry and then the tax administrators. So we are developing even a new syllabus. It is not to be ready very soon. We are developing a new syllabus to take care of the emerging issues for now. But like Bill, I'll let Bill to help me here. When it comes to for about, should I say, about 20, 15 years now, you see the impact of CIT or taxation in the economy in terms of how we develop tax audit. Previously, I'll tell you a little history about how come we have tax audit. Now, the main brain behind tax audit was a gentleman of blessed memory called Mr. Akpakri. Now, anytime he works with GRA, anytime they go out to audit companies, they realize that people make mistakes and pay huge monies to GRA, which if they know what to do, they wouldn't have been paying that much to GRA. So even though he's part of administrators who even want more money for government, he was concerned about we training people so that they don't throw away money like that and invest in the company. So that was how come we created that tax audit, which has come to help a lot of companies. So in terms of value too, when you work in an institution and you say, this is the tax man, he add value to you, you can bargain, if you work with GRA, now even you get to some levels in GRA, you may leave CITG before you may be promoted. Some of the practice firms, the accounting firm, the tax practice firm like the PwC and the rest, they now have tax department. Even COCOMOS, which is a government institution, they have the tax department which they've employed CIT members. If you go to you only be there if you are CIT member in that particular institution. It doesn't matter whether employed by government or whatever. If you don't have CIT, they will not put you there. So there are a lot coming up. So I wish to advise everybody that whatever the situation, make sure you have a tax qualification. Bill, thank you for that. If you can also assist.
Yes, sir. So I will want our host to also tell us why the CIT qualification is also a better one and why people should strive to become tax professionals. Yes, yeah.
Bill, I'm not the host. Okay,
Okay.
so I have just sent a message on the chat that if you want to be added to the CITG WhatsApp page, I've given a particular number. Kindly send your WhatsApp numbers to that specific number. We'll compile it and share it with Mr. Stephen now. Okay, so Boss Bill, yes, I am a strong believer of the fact that the next big thing to happen in Ghana is tax. And therefore, I want to entreat all of us on this call to start building our capacity when it comes to taxation. I think Mr. Stephen Na even alluded to that in his submission. These days, companies, multinationals are becoming proactive. They don't wait for the authority to go and audit them and slap them with huge tax liability. They are looking for the service of experienced tax professionals to employ, to engage, to help them manage their tax affairs. So it's an area that you can look at, okay? Even the authority itself, the Ghana Revenue Authority, day in, day out, are building the capacity of their staff. It can happen that tomorrow you end up being a staff of the Ghana Revenue Authority to help them in the work that they do. If you are also not with the authority and you want to practice, okay, the courses that we are running, I was telling Boss Bill, was it yesterday or a day before, tax audit, international taxation. Look at all these multinationals that come to Ghana and are operating here. They are transactions that cut across the globe. With your knowledge and experience in international taxation, okay, you can offer value to your employers. So, colleagues, you stand to benefit a lot if you take your career in taxation very serious. And one big thing is that the big names that Mr. Stephen now mentioned, very soon, all these big names, they will fade out. So the young generation, what are we doing? It's now time to learn, prepare ourselves so that when these big names eventually fade out, we can take up that responsibility. Thank you, Boss Bill.
Welcome. Thank you for the word so sweet. Yeah. And to top it up, yes, before Isaac, I'm coming. To top it up, the CITG qualification or the tax and accounting qualification also offers a huge area of digital gigs, right? So now, just by, you see, there are a lot of companies coming to Ghana to, foreign direct investments and all these things. And you can reach out to these kind of companies online, create gigs, help them, and get paid. No need to even set up a tax office. And this is how mostly people are making money with the gig economy and freelancing. So there's so much vast aspect. And I told you tax is jurisdictional. You can be an accountant, but no matter where you travel, if you come to Ghana, you must learn Ghana tax. You go to UK, you must learn UK tax. You get it, which makes it very interesting. Okay, so that was it. And I think Mr. Bofwa, Isaac, your hand was up. Let's take your last question and then I can move.
Okay, good evening, Prof.
Good evening, my boss.
My question has to do with the profession or the professional body.
Okay.
What benefits do its members get being part of the CIT fraternity? I don't know if you get my angle I'm coming from. With other professions, if you are in the fraternity, there are some benefits the members get in terms of if they pay their dues, the profession or the association do offer some benefits to its members.
Like benefits like?
If we take, let's say, the The solicitors, for instance, let's say the lawyers,
Uh-huh.
is a profession on its own, and its members are being guided in terms of some code of ethics that guide them, and they defend them, or they speak for them in terms of difficulties by setting up their remunerations limits.
Okay. Before Mr. Stephen attempts to respond to you, have you read the CITG Act?
Not yet.
Okay, that's fine. Mr. Stephen
Oh, the opportunities, there are many. Now, when, for instance, as I mentioned, Kokobo, when they were starting to open the tax office, they sought our assistance to provide them with CITG tax experts who will orient their staff and, if possible, absorb some of them into their institution. That is another opportunity which we provided about 2 people who are now key leading the courts. When cases goes to the courts and they can't interpret the tax issues there, they normally call on the institute to provide them with tax experts. So since you have a tax expert, a court calls from Kumasi or Tamale, you can't send a tax expert from Accra to that place. So you need to get an expert around that area for the expert to go and read. Definitely, the court may not see you just like that. Then the other organization or company that send job vacancies that are related to tax. Even today, some came. They want tax trainee to us to provide them. So in terms of that, we have code of ethics, we have the rules and regulations. And as Boss Bill is taking you through, he will teach you how to even charge. I don't think I have to show you here, but Bill will teach you how to even charge for work. So I think that there are so many opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you. Okay, Boss Bill.
Yes, sir. Okay.
The discussion
So
is getting interesting.
all right. So now we move to the CITG exam structure. As Steve already mentioned, we have 12 papers span across levels. So we have the professional level, which comes with 6 papers. We have the final level 1, which comes with 3 papers, and the final level 2, which comes with 3 papers. Okay. Now, the professional level papers include public sector economics and finance, income taxation, accounting and finance, indirect taxation, revenue and business law, and strategy and governance. All right. So, as Steve mentioned earlier, these are academic papers, with the exception of indirect taxation, which is very practical. I mean, sometimes when you look at their questions, you be like, hey, Charlie, don't be small. Oh. But I think the professional level, if you have knowledge with the professional level, it makes it easier to sail through final level 1 and final level 2. So when it comes to final level 1, we have 3 papers: tax audit and special investigations, oil, gas, and other minerals taxation. Now, most people know this paper as oil and gas, and mostly they ignore the minerals part. And it is causing them a lot of headache. They write and they come back because in their mind, the paper is called oil and gas. So they forget the mineral aspect. And you go every time there's question on mineral taxation, you can't do away with it. So oil and gas, they focus on oil and gas and they leave the minerals. Then we have the boss himself, international taxation. So the thing is, with the final 1 papers, I've seen that it causes a lot of headache for people, but they go to final 2, they usually sail through. But with final 1, I will tell you the gospel truth. There's no shortcut. You see, now in the industry, people are looking for, I don't know why it has become like that. People are looking for questions. But there's no shortcut to heaven. If you learn, you will pass. You learn and practice. That is the thing. So final 1 can cause a lot of headache if you haven't started before, because this is where the technical stuff are. These are specialized courses, right? Unlike final 2, where you get generalization, but final 2 is also not easy, but it has its ups and downs. So with final 2, there are 3 papers. We have strategic tax planning, which this paper is like everything. You are planning, advisory. Then we have advanced taxation practice. So in your day-to-day practice as a tax expert, what do? You file returns, you raise objections, okay? You pay taxes, you file returns, all those things, right? Then we have tax practice administration and ethics. So this is where, as before was asking, yes, we have a code of ethics. You learn this code of ethics. You learn how to, organize your way as a tax practitioner, consultancy, all those things are here. So this is the whole exam structure, right? And the CIT qualification, I can say, me myself, it changed my life. The CIT qualification is a very good one, right? So apart from this, we'll be looking at some things that we will be getting, right? So with Prof Training Solutions, we offer you some study materials, recommended study materials. Our platform is an AI learning platform now, which we use. So the thing is to make learning as smooth as possible. So it means that if you are a student, learning should be like ABCD. I mean, you shouldn't stress, right? Learning should be fun. That is what I know. The more you make things fun, your brain seems to remember. Okay, so we have recommended study texts, which these study texts were built on the CIT examiners and what they recommend for the exam, like what the examiner's mind. Let me just say it like that. Do you get it? So when you use them, your success is mostly guaranteed because it is not small work. We have sat down and we have actually come out with ways to help you pass and pass well. All right. So these are some of the study texts and what they offer. Okay, so usually my 1 or 2 things I've observed is that a lot of people, as I said, are looking for shortcuts. But I told you, it is not about shortcuts. It's about how you prepare. If you prepare very well with the right materials, you should be fine. So the thing is, most students are not mostly ready to invest. And that is the problem. Okay, I believe in investment. If you are ready to, put in a lot and invest in the right materials, why would you struggle? You wouldn't struggle, right? You will succeed and you will succeed better. So every student actually needs to get approved or recommended study texts. You need to get a set of past questions. And for us, we don't sell the normal past questions. We sell topic-wise revision kits. Okay. It means that, like, when you take each topic, all the past questions on the topic are compiled. Okay. So when you take one particular past question, if you go to maybe this topic, these are the set of past questions that have ever come on this topic. Okay. So we have soft copies, we sell soft copies, and we sell hard copies. So that's how our system works. Okay. So I'm going to show you some of the books that we have. Come in. Okay, so these are some of them. I don't know if you can see my screen. So these are some of them. I believe everyone can see my screen. These are exam focused study texts. So these are study texts. I believe you can see my screen. I believe everyone can see my screen.
Yes, Prof. We can.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, these are some of our recommended study text. We have study text and topic by topic past questions across every level. So if you want a copy, you can reach out to the student success coordinator. They'll get it to me, or you can reach out to me directly. All right. So we have books across all levels, including topic by topic past questions and solutions. And now with our AI platform that we have, all your books are also there. So if you are the type who likes soft copies, you can also buy soft copy, which is embedded on the website. And the good thing about the website or the mobile app is that once you have a book there, The AI is always at your service. Let's say you are reading page 5, you don't understand, you can say, AI, can you summarize what is on page 5 for me? It will say, fine, I can do that summary for you. It can summarize the whole thing for you, even generate further examples for you, which you can use. All right. So we have all these tools for you to succeed. I mean, our goal is for you to succeed and succeed well. So the platform is actually Prof's SteadyMate. It's called Prof's SteadyMate. And now you can get it online or via the Play Store or the Microsoft Store now. Okay. You can get it from the Microsoft Store or the Play Store, or the website itself is profsteadymate.com. So when you just go to Google and type Prof SteadyMate, you will see Prof SteadyMate. Let me see if I can go to Google. So let's just come to Google here. Let's just come to Google and type profsteadymate.com. So that's the AI platform, profsteadymate.com. Okay. So it's your SteadyMate for life. All right. So this is it. Okay. This is how it looks like. So Prof SteadyMate. So my profile is already. So this is it. Okay. So we have various courses there which you can sign up. Okay. Courses. And we even have an affiliate system where you can make money. So Prof is now learn and earn. You are learning and earning at the same time. All right. So you can view your earnings. I'll come and talk about all that. Okay. So we have ICA, CIT courses, digital marketing courses, and others, but I haven't uploaded those ones yet. So we have various qualifications. You can see them. We have ICA courses, CIT, corporate training, digital marketing, business growth. What some of our students say. We have what? Various success stories. So you can download our app, our mobile app. So you can get the mobile app on the Play Store, the App Store. Unfortunately, the app was rejected. We are redoing it so that you can get it for those using iOS. Those using iOS, right? So since 2016, we have been turning a lot of lives around, and you can become part of the success story. Now, the main deal about today's session was to maybe give you a little guide about the AI platform. You can get a lot of benefits. As you can see on my screen, even if you haven't even registered with us, you can come here. You see there's an AI chat bot here, which you can even ask anything. Hi. And it will work for you. I think my data has been disconnected. Yeah. So the AI platform is there for you to always access, where you can type and it will give you feedback. I think my keyboard has disconnected. I don't know why. Okay. But then this is how the AI system works. It can generate you a study plan. You see the course name. You can select your program. You can put your current level, the date you want to do your exam, available study time per day. Let's say if every day you can spare 20 minutes, you just put there 20 minutes, specific topics you want to focus on, your textbook content, maybe what you want, and then you can click generate. It will generate a study plan for you. All right. This is how the system works. And you see, this is even when you haven't even signed up. You can get access to all these tools. You can schedule course details you want, you can review, you can check your progress. There are so many tools there. It's a full AI learning package. Okay. It's a full AI learning package. So if I go to my dashboard, this is my profile. You see, usually you see your dashboard. Okay. You see your courses. So any course you've signed up, okay, it's a whole community. So we have the learning hub. Any courses you sign up, you can see the courses you already signed up. You can start learning. So you can see the courses. You can see books you've bought. Okay. So if you buy a book online, you can see the book. And once I click, let's say continue reading, this is it. Okay. So the book will open and then you have AI. So you see the AI here about this page. So you can say maybe what? Summarize this page for me. And the AI can generate you a summary. Okay, now it's working. Summarize page. Okay, the AI can summarize the page for you. Okay, it can summarize the page for you. and then it will generate all the summaries you need, right? So you see, the document covers advanced taxation practice, focusing on the computation and adjustment of taxable income for individuals and partnerships. Key topics include this, and that. Okay, so you can copy the response. If you open to a topic maybe you are finding difficulty with, let's say I come to imposition of income tax and I just click the AI should summarize the page for me. It will do the summary for me. So these are the soft copies of the books. So if you are learning, you see, income taxes payable by entities with chargeable income or those receiving final withholding payments during the year. Chargeable income is calculated. You see, it has just summarized the whole page for you. It's not only summary. You can tell it to generate quiz for you and it will generate. So this is how AI is simplifying learning now, okay, across board. You can decide to zoom it to your taste so that you can learn and make things easier for yourself. So it's all up to what the student is actually expecting. All right. So this is how this works. Okay. This is how this works. So it has so many things available. So these are books. You can buy all your books, your courses, and everything here. Then we have the AI assistant on its own. If you have signed up for a course, the AI assistant is there for you. It can give you recommendations, check your performance, how you are doing with your videos. Even when you are watching a video on our platform, you can summarize the video and generate notes from it. It can generate AI content. You can check your chat history, your learning path, how you are doing with your ICA, CIT. You can even generate a new path for yourself. And then you can practice. So this is where you can copy text and put it here and generate quizzes. Okay, so let's say if I want 5 items or maybe, let's say IFRS 5 or IFRS 16, okay, I can generate 5 questions. And then it will analyze and generate questions for me, okay, objs, and then I'll practice. Okay, you see, it has generated quizzes for me. What is the primary objective of IFRS 16? Then it gives you the explanation. It will give you all the explanations. After that, you can take the quiz. So you can come to take quiz, and then you see, I can now start taking the quiz. What's the primary objective of IFRS 16? Maybe to define the recognition, measurement, presentation, disclosure of leases. How are lessees required to recognize leases, right? As a right of use and a lease liability, which of the following is an exemption under IFRS 15? Low value assets. How are liabilities initially measured? Present value of lease payments on lease balance sheet compared to previous standards. Now they are recognized as way. So submit quiz. Well, actually, I had 100%. That's nice. So this is how this system is. So you can create quizzes. You can generate likely questions from what you have done, and even flashcards to learn, right? It will give you flashcards which you can learn with. So this is the learning hub. Then you come to the shop. The shop is where you buy all your things. You buy your courses, your books, and all that. So you can check your orders that you have, and it will show in your cart, okay? So if you add more than 2 items to your cart, you are going to get a 10% discount, right? Then we have classrooms. So now there's no need to use WhatsApp or whatever. There's no need. On this platform itself, you have classrooms, and the classrooms are just like an ordinary classroom where meetings are scheduled ahead of time and all that. So if there's a class, the AI sent you a message ahead of time that Mr. So and so, you have a class at 6 p.m. You need to join as soon as possible, okay? So that's how this system works. That's how this system works. So there are classrooms and everything. All right. There are live meetings. So if there's a meeting live, you see the recordings will be here where you can click watch recording and you can watch the recording if only the meeting came on. The meetings that are live, upcoming meetings, you see them, right? That they are rolling down here. Then we have study forums. So these study forums are like general groups where you can make friends, you can share ideas. So you see ICA forum. This is the ICA forum where you can, meet friends here, share ideas. We have CIT forum, and most forums will be created where you can come and hang out and meet new friends. Hi. Okay. So it's just a chat platform. So there's no need for WhatsApp nowadays. So we have study forums and all that, right? And then we have general feeds. And the general feed is where we schedule classes. Let's say if there's an urgent message, right? Emergency, dear final one student, you can see it's of urgent priority. So this is where you can do class schedules. Maybe if a lecturer is not doing well, or maybe it's not available, this is where we can send important messages or create posts which everybody will receive. If you have the app, you will get a notification on your phone that today maybe the lecturer cannot make it. Okay, then there's a blog session where we'll be adding articles, as and when we go. Then this one is our free resources session. Maybe you don't have money to join class, but we have YouTube videos to help you across various courses. So you come to free resources, you can type in the search bar and look for the resource that you want, maybe on tax ethics. Maybe you don't have money to join class. We are still willing to help you succeed, because our goal is about what? Helping you to become an all-rounded tax practitioner. Then we have the gallery. So with the gallery, we have some of our award winners, some of the pictures from our graduation, the cakes that we take. These are some of our award winners that we have. So there are lots of award winners actually. This is just from 2020. I'm not even talking about 2018, all those ones and those that came recently. Okay. So these are some of our award winners. I myself included. I should have added my name, but there are a lot of them. All right. So this is how the platform is. Okay. And we have a lot of testimonials, more than 5,000 testimonials. So I created a simple testimonial page. You can see some of them that pass through our hands, a lot of them. But this is just about, is it 50 or 60 testimonials? But I have more than 5,000 testimonials from just CIT alone. Then where it gets interesting is the affiliate program. So this is how the affiliate program works. Let's say you get somebody to sign up with Prof's Training Solutions, right? You have a referral code, and then when you copy this and the person uses this to register, you get 10%. All right, so that is it. So you can see from here, right? Yeah, this is how the referral system works. So once you copy your link and give it to somebody who registers with us, the person registers, and immediately on your dashboard you see your total referrals, your total earnings. So if the person is paying 1,000 cedis and you refer the person, you get 100 cedis. And this 100 cedis, you can come and click. There's a portion for you where you can click withdraw, and then it sends me a withdrawal request, and then you withdraw your money sharp. So profits learn and earn. As you are learning, you are earning at the same time. By referring friends, you can share, invite, and earn at the same time. And this can be your top business that is generating you a lot of money. So literally, it's like you're a partner with Prof, where you bring people and then you get money. Okay. And if you are very serious, you can earn a lot of money. Okay. You can get a lot of money, which will shift us to put you on what we call the partner program. That means you can get about 50%. So that means whatever student you bring, you get 50% of his school fees. Literally, it means you're a school owner. Okay. So these are some of the benefits our platform has to offer. There are a lot more. So you see, when I go to withdrawals, this is where you can see how much I have in my affiliate earnings. Available balance is 0. Withdrawal request, I can click Momo or bank transfer. Then within 1 to 3 business days, you receive your cash. But if it is Momo, within 2 to 4 hours, you will be credited. All right. So this is a summary of our AI platform, and the AI is everywhere. Everywhere you are, the AI is willing to, help you succeed. All right. So this is some of the benefits that our platforms offer. Yes, and it's very user friendly. I mean, we've sat down to make it so easy for a class 5, even class 4 child to be able to maneuver his way around. So that's the little I wanted to share about our platform. And I told you the platform, you can get it on your apps, your Play Store, Google Play Store. You can get a website itself or the desktop version. All right. So when you go to the Microsoft Store, for instance, if I go to the Microsoft Store, let me search for my Microsoft Store. And then I go and search for Prof StudyMate, you will see it, right? So you can go to your Microsoft Store and just search for Prof StudyMate. Okay, so you can just search for Prof StudyMate. So those using Apple, sorry for now, the Apple version will be ready soon. So that is it, right? So Prof StudyMate, you can see it. So you can just install it on your computer, and then that is it. The website is equally available, and the Android app, which you get on the Play Store. The Android app even has additional features, which like notifications and all that. Right? So that is how the platform works. And then there's another option we are working on. Videos can be played even if your internet is slow. We've reduced the bandwidth. Yes. So some videos may be stored online depending on how heavy the videos are, which you can rewatch. There's no need to have internet connection and all that. So we are really working on these things to make learning smoother and easier for you. All right. So those are some of the study notes. And once lectures are going on, you have some lecture materials. All our videos after today's lecture, the video will be uploaded on the platform for you to have access to. Okay. And then, as I told you, we have classrooms on the site. Where the classroom is where meetings are scheduled. So there's no Zoom link. There's nothing like, oh, a Zoom link will be shared. No. So far as you are part of the classroom, it is automatic. When there's a meeting, you just click join meeting and you join the meeting. And after that, the recording itself appears in the recording tab. So you can just go to recordings, then you click it, and then the recording will be playing for the particular course you are doing. All right. So as I showed you, there are forums, CIT forum, ICA forum. You can make friends, you can chat, and it's an all-in-one LMS platform that offers you everything you need, AI summaries and whatever you need. So this is basically what we have to offer. Now, what is your strategy to succeed? If you want to succeed, I will tell you, you can attend all tuition sessions. Don't miss any class, okay? And follow a steady timetable. So in our class now, we have scheme of work where you know exactly what topics or what things we'll be doing at each point in time so that it can help you prepare ahead of time. Then you practice a lot of past questions. You join the discussion groups on the website. You apply exam techniques. We are fond of teaching people a lot of exam techniques. And then you seek tutor guidance early. Okay, so just seek a lot of guidance from your tutors. And that's how you are literally going to succeed in your journey as a chartered tax practitioner. Then there are some study tools, as I showed you, our e-learning platform, the forums, the groups. We'll have mock exams and revision classes, which come at the end of like the last month before the papers. We usually do a revision class or what we call a crash course, where we teach you the whole course, but in a sandwich, it's a sandwich course of the whole course, right? So we teach you the whole course again, but in a simple way, and we put things together, the key areas. Then we also offer one-on-one mentorship or tutor support, which is also one of the things we do offer. So why should you register with Profs Training Solutions? I believe you have seen some of the benefits that we offer. I mean, we are a group of industry practitioners, marketing, finance, and audit experts. So Profs is actually professionals training solutions. So anything regarding professionals, we are there. Okay, we have a proven track record, very high pass rates across CITG, ICA, ACCA, CIMA, and a whole lot. Just that now is the CITG, ICA, and we have flexible learning. So subsequently or very soon, our face-to-face will start again. Before it used to be there, but very soon face-to-face classes will be available, which are on-site classes. And for now, is the online. So we have comprehensive materials, anything you think about. Audios to play in your car when you are going to work, notes, videos, mock exams. We have personalized support. We have student success coordination that coordinates you to succeed from the start to the end of your journey. All right. We are a trusted brand for professional training in Ghana, and we have over 5,000 success stories, even more than that. Okay, these are the ones that I have been able to record. Some people don't get back to you, but the ones I've been able to record are more than 5,000 success stories. So what are the next steps? Your next step is to register for your CIT tuition, as Steve came and talked about. Get your study pack from us. Join our study community. Stay consistent and disciplined, and you will see results. All right. So that is it. So now we will just have a session for you to hear from some of our proud alumni and award winners. So I'll hand over to our moderator to take it from there. I didn't want the meeting to be too long. That's why I had to run quickly through this so that you can have time to do other things. Yes, Mr. Moderator, please, you can carry on.
Thank you very much, Boss Bill, for that excellent presentation. So at this point, I'll be calling on some of our alumni members who are on the call to share their experiences with us. Okay. Ruby is asking for timetable. Okay. Boss Cletus, good evening.
Good evening, Bosima.
Long time no hear.
I do, my brother. Boss Bill, I
Please
miss you.
talk to us. How was your
Yes,
experience like with Pros Training Solutions?
I'm listening to the software. I'm just asking myself. So, Boss Bill has allowed us to finish, and then he's bringing this. But I think if you find yourself within this this evening orientation, you are in a very safe hands. In fact, all people anybody who actually asks me about CIT, the first person I always recommend is Boss Bill. Because I remember when I had a chat with Boss Bill and I was giving him my schedule and how it was difficult for me to combine studies with work and other things. I mean, I complained a lot, but he told me, "Oh, you get it," and I would just say, "Oh, but this man don't know what you're talking about." But he assured me that I will get it. I really believe till we began the classes and then I got his audios and the videos. So it got a time my radio in the car, it only plays the audio. So picking the children from the house to the school, if they will also listen. All the time my kids will be rattling along when they hear Boss Bill's voice, especially when it comes to tax audit. So it was through that I'm joining some of them. I missed the class, some I joined, and I was able to get it. Now, I think there is one thing that one special grace and that Boss Bill has. But when it comes to his lecturing, he has a way of giving you a lot. And then when you come the next time around, you have to show what you have done. Sometimes assignments, he has to remind you that he needs his assignment. And this is serious. You have to send it to him before even class. And I think that despite combining office work, and then I'm also a law student. So it's been difficult to combine these two. So I wasn't really sure that I'll be able to finish this CIT course on time. But the assurance and then the tuition, how Boss Bill and the other colleagues, I remember Madam Abigail early morning on Saturdays, who have this, you have time to explain every detail to you, everything. You ask 100 questions, you'll be able to explain everything to you. So I think that the lecturers, Mr. Sani too is here. I mean, these are people who were on top of the various courses. And it said that when you, after every lecture, you even yearn to join the next one. And I think that this happened to help me. I have gone to series of classes before joining Boss Bill. And then it was under his tutelage that I can also call myself a proud chartered tax practitioner. You may not know the impact it added to my ego. Let me say my ego in quote, because you go somewhere and now CIT is becoming CA is becoming more popular. Let me say popular. So you go somewhere and you find yourself that this is a class of CAs, and then you are able to add up that, oh, you are also a member of CIT, and then they say, hey. One man told me, "Na course then when you find yourself in." So this is something that it will add up to your apart from you getting the money or the aspect that it will increase your probably your salary if you work with GRA. It's something that also lifts you out of the normal, which we know that when you talk of professional, it's only CA. So when you get to have CIT as part, your value also increases. And then with time, just as our brother Ima said, CA is fading because I have a small business. If you see how software is able to do try balance, prepare your income statement, and even balance it. This cannot be done by when it comes to tax, because tax is a different field altogether. So I am looking to the future where softwares will be able to program and even solve issues when it comes to accounting. But when it comes to tax, you'll be standing out because it is actually not like the accounting that we do. So let me not talk much. Others will be on the line, but let me encourage you that the next diet, after the next diet, many of you here will give a testimony, just like I'm saying. And I can assure you that you are really in a very safe hands with Boss Bill and his team. Thank you.
Thank you, Senior. You didn't mention your full name and where you work. If you don't mind, you can share that with us.
Okay. My name is Cletus Seko. I'm currently the Director of Finance, Ghana Boundary Commission. Yes, so that's me.
Colleagues, you can see that he's a big man. A big man. Thank you very much, Senior. We have another person to talk to us. I call her Auntie Vero. Auntie Vero, can you hear me? Hello, Auntie Vero. Okay. She can't hear me at the moment. Let's go to Boss Musa. Hello, Boss Musa. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Charlie, man.
Great. So you tell us a little bit about yourself and the great experience you had with Pros Training Solutions.
Okay. I hope you will not tell me that as soon as where I work. Prof, good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
I hope you are fine.
I'm managing.
Yes, you have to print the books. So we need your books. We need your books.
Oh,
we want to make sure that we print.
They are ready. So tomorrow out. All right.
Yes. Okay, so as Imam mentioned, my full name is Musa Crispinos, but I prefer people call me by Musa. That's my surname. Boss Bill, though I was on a call. I had somebody asking of a center in Takrady. Currently, I'm in Takrady, and then Boss Bill, by the grace of God, we are getting a center here in Takrady, so that if you want face-to-face encounter with Boss Bill and the team, you can actually get that here. So Boss Bill is making that possible to widows here in Takrady. I don't have much to say, but I would say that my encounter with Prof and the team is a blessing. And in fact, anytime I join let's say a discussion where Prof is leading, I'm always happy. I don't want to actually end. The reason being that during our time, I was surprised to be called to take an award for an overall best student in that particular year. And that was from Prof class. And I'll just say, yeah, that was from Prof class. And one thing about Boss Bill and the team is that I will worry you. And then that is what Bills want. When I was writing, he said, Musa solved from 2016 to date. And every single solution I'm not getting, I call him. So I didn't know that Prof was pushing me for that award. So by the grace of God, I think when we wrote, I was the overall best. We were two. One lady from GRA by name Fatima. We actually had the same overall mark. And you see, you will not get it anywhere. To be honest, I've been in Accra for some time, and then you will not get, even to get a lecturer to come and then even take you through this. They lecture about, but Boss Bill and the team, they teach. They make, the first speaker said what? They ask a single question, every single question. Madam Abigail makes sure she answers the questions. That is teaching, not lecturing. And that is something that you cannot get it elsewhere apart from Boss Bill class. So what I would say is that I know Prof always say that let's put God first, and that is what actually helps. So my suggestion is that let's make sure that we commit whatever we are going to do into the hands of the Lord, and make sure that I can assure you, I remember Boss Bill last time said, if you think I'm lying, you go and write. If you don't pass, come, I'll refund your money to you. Our time, that's what he said. And I don't know what boss Bill, you can remember. Edward Opoku asked that question, and you give us that assurance that if you go and you don't pass, come, I will refund your money.
I remember,
yes. So I was saying, hey, and you know what? The person that introduced me to Boss Bill was a student who actually performed extremely well. When we were getting other students, and her name is Safa, she's now with MPA. This girl showed me her result. She was getting 80, 85. And I said, which class did you attend? And you are getting this marks. He said, oh, my brother, did you hear of Boss Bill? I said, no. Send me the number. Quickly, I linked up. And then, to my surprise, although she did not get an award, but I have an award. That is to say that God time is the best. And that is the right place. If you are on the call this evening, it is not that I'm bragging about Boss Bill, but you can see the testimonies. And you see, the funny thing about it all, or the thing about it, is not about the class. If you hear him speak, he wants you to succeed, not only academically, but in all fields. You get it? I can tell you that I after finishing, I'm part of Bill's team, and then that is, I can say that for the consistent times I handle classes, I have able to record 100% in advanced taxation, and then it is not what it's what he impacted. Sometimes I still call him and say, Musa, do this, do that. You see, that is what we should build, the relationship. So please, I don't want to hijack the discussion, but that is what I can say about Boss Bill. It's like more like a family, and the other teachers are also on the call, Mr. Enoch, and then the team. I think, in fact, I would say God bless them. In fact, God bless them. So,
Thank you.
Mr. Iman, this is what I can add to the discussion this evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Pros Training Solutions is proud of you, Mr. Musa. To the next person, Mr. Emmanuel Kujo Asiedu, if you can hear me, my boss.
Oh,
Iman,
yes,
please,
bro.
I think somebody is asking on the chat box that Bill's team, those in Takrady, they want a contact. So maybe you can actually
okay, so
see how you can manage
please share
that.
your contact with the person now. If you can mention your number now before I move to Mr. Kujo Asiedu. You can type your number in the chat box.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Thank you, sir. Boss Kujo Asiedu, good evening.
Oh, my boss, good evening. I hope I am audible now.
Yes, you are. The floor is yours. Talk to us.
Oh, thank you so much, my boss. You know, I call you my brother, and you actually my brother. All right. So for me, in fact, as for Boss Bill, sometimes I don't even know what to say. But I think he carries a special grace. I don't know if he intends to be a pastor or a prophet or whatever it is. I mean, if he has that plan, he should pursue it. Because the reason why I'm saying that is that when Boss Bill, I mean, stands to teach, right? for him personally, I don't get tired listening to him. I don't know if it is with everybody, but anytime I listen to Bosville teaching, I don't get tired listening to him.
I think it's not you alone.
Yes, and I can tell you for a fact. You know, even for profs, nobody introduced me to profs class. I think when I decided to write CIT, there was one guy I finished CA with that I said, oh, Farid, his name is Farid. I said, Farid, let's write the CIT. Then he was like, oh, you write to write. And I said, okay, fine. Me, if you've not decided, I'll write, I'll try. So even for the final level one, I didn't go for class. So I said, let me just go online and then see if I can get some free tuition there. So I listened to a couple of classes, some of them I don't want to mention names. And then lo and behold, I came across Bosville's, one of his free lectures. And I said, who is this man? He talks with so much confidence, and then the zeal, and then the fact that he can say that you pass with one touch. And truth be told, all my papers is just one touch. I didn't feel any of them. In fact, I have not graduated, but I just passed out this recent sitting. So as for Bosville's class, and there's one thing he will say. When you ask questions, he won't get angry. He will just tell you, I did for you. And I Bosville, I did for you. He'll tell you, I did for you. Yeah, I did for you. He doesn't get tired. And that is, it's so admirable. Sometimes I say, hey, this man is blessed. When he talks, you just don't get tired listening to him. You always want to listen to him. And for me, I think if you come across Bosville and the prof solutions class, I think it should be thankful to God, because he doesn't just teach you the class things. And for me, one thing that I find it so unique about prof's class was that he was able to teach us the exam techniques. And that thing, I've always been saying, nobody will teach you. The fact that he will teach you that, learn how to write well, don't write in margins. Make sure you read your requirements first. Some of these are techniques that they will never teach you, but these are techniques that you use in passing your exam. Yes, of course, it's not just about passing the exam, but that is, the first point of call. You have to pass your exam. So, for me, it was sometimes, yes, I wanted to finish the course, but at times too, I feel like, I shouldn't have finished so that I can still listen to Bosville. Yeah, but all in all, not to make my conversation too long. I think that for those of you who are writing, take Bosville's lecture serious, and then Bosima as well. Bosima dear. As for your blessings there, I don't even know what to say, because so many things that he's done for us. The dawn classes and everything. If I say I want to say everything, I won't finish. But all I can say is that, when you find yourself in this class, you are in safe hands. And there's one testimony I want to share. Bosville mentioned that, I think at some point, Bosville mentioned that there are people who are being paid some amount of money for being chartered tax practitioners. And for me, I thought it was outrageous. But I can tell you for a fact, me, I'm into practice. And after just the CIT course, there's a deal I have gotten, and I'm surprised. That's why I'm saying that Bosville there is more than a prophet. I hope
Excellent.
It's more than a prophet. So the CIT course, please, is a very, 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 very good course. And if you find yourself to be in this class, just take your lesson serious. And I'm sure you will come and testify just like I am doing. Thank you, boss, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel Kujo Asiedu, for that experience with Pros Training Solutions. Mr. Actman. Hello, Mr. Actman.
Hi, ma.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can you tell us your full name and your experience with Pros Training Solutions?
Okay. I'm Emmanuel.
Do I have your permission to tell the audience the story behind your nickname?
Yes.
Okay, you go ahead with your experience first.
Okay. I'm Emmanuel Jane. Yeah, I'm a chartered accountant, tax practitioner, and now practicing audit. I'm the senior partner of Premas Audit. Yes. I think I have similar experience like my colleagues, and I think it's because we are all coming from one family or under Prof. So mine is not going to be different from what my colleague just said. There's a lot of similarities. But even you calling me here, I feel like it's more like homecoming. This is like homecoming for us. So we welcome all the new students on board. Fortunately, you are blessed to be here. Seriously, I feel like home. And this home, during our time, it taught us something. For me personally, it gave me some secret, which I call it Prof's solution plus secret. When you look at Prof solution, I came out with, it seems more like two secrets. He has a way when it comes to the technical side, and let me say the other side is motivation. The technical side, when you look at Prof, or when you look at how the school is being run, it's very simple. You are going to notice that you don't need many materials, but you only need relevant materials. Very few. And the materials, my primary material from Pro Solution was the audios. Those audios that were uploaded on the platform. Make sure as a student that becomes your primary source. And then the next will be the past questions. From there, I have like the four most important materials are the audios, the past questions, and the act. After the act, then the prof's own book. He has a books which you should have it as a student. So when you get to the audio, to really enjoy the family as a student, after lecturing, Prof will upload the audio there. And after that, to feel more connected to the family, please, I beg you, try as much as possible to join the study group, which Ima will lead. I don't know, and Uncle Johnson, we thank you very much for what you did for us. You feel more connected and you will really, really enjoy it. And when it gets to motivations, oh, my brothers and sisters, you are going to enjoy. He will let you know the reason why you should learn the course, not just passing the exams. As for passing the exams, yes, rest assured. Me, as asked for 3 papers, I passed all. As for passing the papers, it's not really difficult here, but it will let you know the reason, or you just feel how. Sometimes you feel like you are going to get 100%, but at the end of the day, you can get 80, 50, depending. But as for passing, the rest assured, you are in the safe hand. So, Prof, we thank you very much and your team very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So that is Mr. Emmanuel Ajay, aka the Act Man. This man read the Revenue Administration Act cover to cover, and he could narrate it like a story. I salute you, Mr. Actman. So that's how come he was nicknamed the Actman.
Right, but let me chip this one in for my colleagues. You see, law and tax in itself is a law. And as such, one thing as a student of law, tax practitioner, when you are done, you should be, whatever you are talking of, or you are having a discussion with GRO or anything, because you are going to be more like intermediary between your clients and the government. So as for your acts, dear, I beg, take it as a serious. If you don't have it, please buy it. Just let it be like your Bible. Just know it. And it helps. It makes conversation very simple and straightforward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel Ajay. Okay, there's a comment here. Let's quickly get to the comment from Hey, it's a very long one. From Mohammed. The last time I wrote tax exams was during my ICAG days, close to a decade ago. I was in practice handling many audit and tax issues of clients until... Okay. It's a very long message. I'm not sure I'll be able to read all this. Okay. Auntie Vero, can you hear me? Hello? Okay, I can't hear from Auntie Vero. So at this point, I would get back to Boss Bill for him to take us through the rest of the program. Hello, Boss Bill.
Yes, my boss. I did for you.
Ha ha ha.
Isaac.
Hello, Prof.
Yes, my boss.
I have a plea
Yes, sir.
with our colleagues, alumni who just spoke.
Yeah.
I would say for Prof Training Solution to grow, for Prof Training to go, let's say worldwide, it all depends on you. As today you are testifying of the good works Prof Training Solution has offered to you and has elevated you in your various careers, I think it will be of good if you also do same to Prof Training Solution to market the institution for people out there to get to know of Prof Training Solution, what they can get when they join the institution in terms of writing their CIT and ICA. Unless my voice and your voice will send the name far away. But I beg, let us try on our various social media handles to market Prof's training of their good works. At least we have colleagues in our workplaces who do view our stars. We have friends in various institutions who do view our stars. When we market, at least they will inquire and we could also testify.
Right.
And the name Prof training will go far. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, then share a flyer with me or something. I will appreciate it. It's even an honor.
Okay, that's fine. So there is one more person who will be sharing his experience with us. I just got a message from him. Once he logs on, I would prompt you, Boss Bill. So, Boss Bill, you can start with the session with the tutors.
Yes. So we are going to go through the various courses and each of the tutors will give an introduction. So we'll go this way. We'll start from final level 2 and then come to final level 1 and then to the professional level. So for final level 2, we have strategic tax planning, which will be taught by Mr. Johnson Wedi. We have advanced tax practice, which will be taken by Mr. Vilko Imprim, that's me. And then we have tax practice administration and ethics, which will be taken by Mr. Emmanuel Edu. But with our final level 2, it is done in a model by model fashion. So though you see us here, we are one family, like final 2 is not supposed to be learned in isolation or EA. So the reason why we see a lot of success in final 2 is because we use the modular approach. And God is our ultimate lecturer here. Okay, though we are teaching you, God is the ultimate architect. We are just bystanders who make fishes of men. All right. So, yes, please, the official contact to be shared. I think somebody's asking a question in the chat. Okay, so for strategic tax planning, there are some few issues we'll look at then. Advanced tax practice, just not to take your time. It will be brief, okay, before we go into. I don't know if Uncle Johnson is online or Uncle Johnson, you would want me to go through. I think he dropped off. Okay, so I will.
Prof, please proceed then.
All right. So we will look at what you are supposed to know in the strategic tax planning exam. So strategic tax planning, I believe in one session ago, I think I did that. Okay. So what are you supposed to know in strategic tax planning, right? So I told you we use the model by model approach, which we call the modular approach. So the very first area is what we call tax planning and its intended objectives. So you learn the introduction to tax planning, as you can see from my screen. What tax planning is: arranging your activities in such a way that you get all the available tax benefits in the law, and also making sure you don't pay more than you're expected to pay. We call that tax planning. It has two avenues. One is what we call tax avoidance, and the other is what we call tax compliance, or what we call tax management. All right. So once you understand what tax planning is, you must understand various strategies that companies use. And there are three major strategies they use. We have something we call income shifting strategy, conversion strategy, and timing strategy. Once you understand them, you must understand how people avoid and evade taxes, right? Then you must understand the variables of tax planning. So here I always say, Sister Kate, why you late, right? So we have what we call the locational incentive, activity incentive or activity variable, time variable, and entity variable. Then from there, we look at what? Various incentives, right? So there are various incentives that require permission in our law, incentives that do not require permission in our law. We have to look at all that. Then we come and look at tax avoidance and evasion schemes, which are very crucial for your exam. So this is where this paper usually was underrated. But now you have to put everything you know together to pass this paper. That's what makes it very interesting. I mean, this paper is what brings you the cash. I won't lie to you. Then from there, we are now going to look at what? Tax incentives in Ghana. So we are going to look at industry concessions. And these concessions, we used to call them tax holidays because they are periods for which little or no taxes are paid. Then we come and look at locational incentives. So there are some places in Ghana that when you cite your business, you are going to get what? Various incentives, right? So those are the locational incentives. Like if you're a free zone company for the first 10 years, you are not paying any tax. If you are a young entrepreneur, somebody who has set up a business, a youthful business in maybe manufacturing, energy production, horticulture, medicinal plants, IT, and the rest. When you locate your business in some places like Tema and Accra, you pay 15%. If you are in a regional capital, you pay 12.5. If you're outside the regional capital, you pay 10%. If you are in the three northern regions or the northern savannah, you pay 5%, and so on and so forth. Then we have forms of business organizations. So if I decide to take a sole proprietorship, a partnership, or a company, what are their tax implications? Okay, and this is where the actual planning, this is where you used to make the cash show. Okay, when you want to go for a trust, controlled foreign corporation, a shell corporation, you can use inversions. You must understand these things. Going with the branch or a foreign subsidiary, how will that work for you in terms of when you want to establish physical presence, right? All these things are there. Then we understand what we call business financing options. Okay, are you going to finance your business with debt? Are you going to finance your business with equity? Are you going to lease or buy your business assets? How are you going to finance your working capital? Right? How are you going to finance your investment? All these things have tax implications. Make or buy decisions, they have tax implications. Okay, so the finance you are learning, the name of the paper is strategic tax planning. It means that the decisions that are taken by the board of directors in terms of taxes, you are concerned with that. The board is concerned about corporate strategy, right? What business should we go into? There's a tax implication with that. What kind of finance should we go for? There's a tax implication with that. How should we sell business? How should we reorganize? There's a tax implication with that. So in Ghana, when you look at our whole entire Income Tax Act, right, one thing you see is that realization is one thing that cuts across the whole act, making it very important. And it's funny people don't pay attention to that. If you become a master of realization, you will chop money. We call it chop Ghana money 2.0. All right, so that is it. Then finally, anti-avoidance provisions are the next area, which Ghana whole tax planning is about anti-avoidance provisions. So things like general anti-avoidance provisions, think capitalization, transfer pricing, indirect payments, changes in accounting date, and then tax treaty shopping and all that, which can be found in the Revenue Administration Act, Section 98, Section 99, right? Then finally, we come and talk about realization. As I told you, our whole act is about realization. Realization is about disposing of your assets and shares or your business. There are tax implications with that, capital gains, as people call it. And it's a big area in our syllabus, right? So realization, then we have other significant areas which are miscellaneous areas, right? Like indirect taxes and how to plan around them, and the Exemptions Act, new things that are coming up in the industry and current developments. So this is what you should be expecting with strategic tax planning. And as I told you, we have done this, a million times. My team has done this a lot of times, that we know what you should focus on to succeed. All right. That's why I tell you, good things speak for themselves. I've done this so much that I can close my eyes and tell you that focus here, focus here, focus here, learn hard, solve past questions, and you will make it and even get award. Okay, so you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So the next paper will be tax practice, ethics, and administration, which I think EA will walk us through before I talk about advanced taxation practice. So
Okay.
our boss EA will walk us through.
Okay, before I do that, we have one of our own on the call, Boss Hussein, who is
Okay.
going to also share his experience with Pulse Training Solutions with
That
us.
is
He's somebody I like so much because during his stay with Pulse Training Solution, he gave us positive feedback. So, Boss Hussein, if you can hear me, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening to all of us on the call.
Good evening.
My name is Idrisu Mohamed Hussein, and as Prof was walking the team through strategic tax planning, I was just sitting here and then saying, "Hey, so I'm gonna miss all this." and, and it might seem as if it is abstract, but trust me, if you just focus on what the lecturers ask you to do here, 50% or 50 plus will not be a problem at the end of the day. So here we are not talking about trying more than once. At your first attempt, you should be assured of your 50 plus X. I can assure you. So I think my time with Prof and the team was one of the periods in my professional journey that I will never forget. I think so. I've written international tax 2 times, and I passed the second time, and I only got to know of Prof Solutions the day before the exam, when I joined his crash program or mastermind program. And I got, I would say, a very comfortable pass thanks to Prof's guidance. Just a day. So I just committed to joining them for the final 2. And I have no regrets. And you will have no regrets if you actually join them and commit to do what they ask you to do. You will not regret at the end of the day. I think that is the little that I have to share. Uncle Atu and Prof, I'm still trying to plan my dawns and the weekends. I don't know. It's like it's vacant for now. I don't know what to do with them.
We say,
God bless you
what
guys.
is that?
Who is this? Who is this?
Hussein,
Yes,
behave.
sir.
I'm still your leader. I'm still your leader.
Oh,
I'm
Council,
still
you
your
are
close
here.
rep.
Council, you are
Yes.
here. Sorry. It's you. Apologies. I should have given compliments. Sorry. I should have paid compliments. I didn't know you were on this call.
Okay, thank you very much, Boss Hussein. I'm sure when I finish with tax practice, admin, and ethics, Boss Bill will give counsel also the opportunity to share his experience with us. So this is paper 12, tax practice, admin, and ethics. Typically, on exam day, you will have 5 questions for paper 12. And the questions will be based on the models you see on your screen. One of the models for paper 12 is professional ethics and tax practice management. Under this model, we will be looking at issues like fundamental principles of ethics, conflict of interest. As a tax practitioner, how do you accept clients or onboard your client service? If you have to charge your client fees, how do you charge fees? Are you going to use fixed rate? Are you going to use time and expenses? Are you going to use contingent fees that the CIT Act frowns upon? Okay. As a tax practitioner, you cannot just wake up one morning and send an email to your client and tell them that I will not work for you again. No. Okay. There is a way you cease to act for your client. If you are a sole practitioner, okay, what happens if you are sick, you are indisposed? That is incapacity of a sole practitioner. Would also go into the CIT Act to see what the CIT Act has to tell us as professionals pursuing a career in taxation. So that's under the first model, professional ethics and tax practice management. Bosby, can we go to the next slide? Next slide, please. Okay, so tax administration is going to be the second model that we'll be looking at. And we'll be drawing a lot from the Revenue Administration Act and the Income Tax Act, okay, when it comes to the subject of tax administration. Basically, there are 3 key stakeholders when it comes to tax administration in Ghana. We have the Revenue Authority, we have the taxpayer, and the consultant. And when I say the consultant, I'm referring to you on this call. You are being trained to become a tax professional, a tax consultant. So a key player when it comes to what? Tax administration in Ghana. So we'll be looking at all these things, how the Revenue Authority was established, its governance structure, how do they identify and register taxpayers, okay? Once the taxpayers are registered, the issue of filing of returns and raising of assessment comes in. So we'll be looking at filing of returns and assessment. We'll also be looking at issues around payment and recovery of taxes. If you owe taxes, the Revenue Authority ordinarily would expect you to pay. But if you don't pay, there are provisions under the law that the Revenue Authority would use to recover those unpaid taxes from you as a taxpayer. If you are also not happy with the Revenue Authority, maybe they have issued you with a tax decision, an assessment, and you are not happy about it, there are provisions in the law when it comes to resolving disputes around tax decisions, okay? Whatever provisions there are in the law, if you don't comply with it, there are sanctions. So we'll be looking at sanctions for non-compliance to tax laws. Refund, administrative directives. By administrative directives, we are referring to practice note, private ruling, and stuff like that. There are a few computational areas under tax administration that we'll be looking at. Next slide, please. Good. The big man himself, VAT. So the third model we'll be looking at under tax practice, admin, and ethics is value-added tax. As a matter of fact, indirect taxes cut across all the three papers for the final level 2. So whether it is strategic tax planning, advanced taxation practice, or tax practice, admin, and ethics, please take your indirect taxes serious. VAT, customs, and excise duty. Okay, so these are some of the things that we'll be looking at. The scope of VAT, how do you register for VAT? We'll look at the registration threshold. We'll also look at supplies, okay, zero rated supplies. We'll look at exempt supply, relief supplies, and stuff like that. Time. We'll look at VAT adjustment, deductible input VAT, non-attributable input VAT, VAT withholding, and a few computational areas also to look at under VAT. In fact, not to say that some of the topics are important than others, but if you're a student of tax, you need to take VAT very serious. Okay, next slide, please. Then we have customs and excise duty. If you check last night's question on the, I don't know whether advanced tax or tax practice, admin and ethics, this topic featured in the exam. Okay, so it is a very important component of the paper 12. So we'll be looking at customs and excise duty. Some of the areas that we'll be looking at is customs warehousing, customs house agent. And let me make this point here. I, as a tutor, I don't like specializing. I don't like telling students, oh, learn this one, don't learn this one. Okay? I want to cover all the key areas of the syllabus so that you walk confidently into the exam hall, knowing that no matter what happens, you would secure your 50% to pass the paper. Okay? So please, when you join us, you would really enjoy the class, you enjoy the section, but I'm telling you ahead of time that no shortcuts. We'll go through everything just to ensure that you pass the paper. Not only pass the paper, after the exam, anywhere you go and there is a discussion on VAT, you can speak to issues. When there are discussions on customs and excise duty, you know what to say because you did not use the shortcut. Boss Bill, the next slide, please. Then I think the next slide has to do with withholding tax and some other miscellaneous areas, yes. So we have withholding tax, allowable deductions, tax avoidance and anti-avoidance regime, and some reforms that the authority has rolled out, okay? If you check the ICA syllabus for principles of tax and advanced taxation, you will see that they have introduced, what do you call it? I'm trying to, IT in taxation. And colleagues on this call, it's just a matter of time. CIT will test that thing. The role of IT in taxation. So please be on the watch out. So I think these and many others are the things that we'll be looking at under tax practice, admin, and ethics. Bosby, thank you. You can take over now.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for the word so sweet. Now we move to advanced taxation practice, which I did last because this is one of the most filled papers, right? And as EA was saying, you can see that VAT, he said VAT and customs cuts across all the papers. Yes, very true. So one of the models that you need in ATP, and that's the reason why people fail it a lot, is indirect taxes. Okay, people, even in Ghana in practice, a lot of people are not so strong when it comes to indirect taxes. And that's why we place a lot of emphasis on it. Because you can see so many people are good with income taxes, but when it comes to indirect taxes, it's a big headache. So with indirect taxes, we are going to look at the overview of VAT, VAT registration issues, the various kind of supplies, taxable supplies and exempt supplies, relief supplies, zero rated supplies, how to compute VAT liabilities the right way. Okay. So the thing is, there's the long way or the confusing way of computing liabilities, and there's the right way of computing liabilities to score you the marks you need. So we are going to look at VAT adjustment and VAT accounting. Okay, so there's VAT computation and there's VAT accounting. VAT accounting is where you actually, let's say you have sales, you have purchases, things in your financial statements and how they affect your VAT transactions, right? Communication service tax, which is like a jealous girlfriend. We will look at deductible input taxes, special schemes like the retail scheme, withholding VAT scheme, and then the flat rate scheme, right? And VAT invoicing. We'll look at customs and customs control, things like customs valuation, duty drawback, reliefs and refunds, and then excise duties. With excise duty, there's one peculiar thing which, if you're a chartered accountant, you wouldn't have been taught, which is the computation of material used in alcohol computation. And they examine it here. Okay, if you've done ICA, you haven't done it before. When it comes, you leave it blank. But it's something that we look at and we learn. I mean, we learn everything. Me, I teach you 100% of whatever you need. Then the next model is where we look at the principles of taxation. So here we look at allowable deductions per our law. So we are going to look at the general rule, or what we call the cardinal rule of deductions, which is found in section 8. Then we come and look at the specific rules or the residual deduction rule that is found in section 9. And then we look at other deductions from section 10 through to section 17. Then we look at other deductions that we may consider, like bad debts under section 23. We look at contributions to a worthwhile cause under section 100. We look at the SIT schedule, additional deductions for fresh graduates, and then mortgage interest, all under the SIT schedule. There are other hidden deductions which are done per practice, like dealing with marketing expenses. There's a limit which GRA considers when they are doing audits. Okay, and then communication expenses and other stuff, right? Things like promotions and all those things, right? Professional fees. We learn how to deal with all that. Then we look at various reliefs and exemptions, which you see under strategic tax planning. So there are models that cut across all the three papers. Then leasing, ordinary. This is the first wife. Okay. You cannot do anything without leasing. So capital allowance goes with leasing. Leasing is on its own, and it can be a regular feature of this paper. People just are not aware. Then we come to withholding taxes, which is everywhere. Withholding taxes is in every paper. Every paper you are doing in CIT, you must know about withholding taxes, with the exception of strategy and governance. Every paper has withholding taxes, oil and gas, so business and revenue law. You see, there's revenue law, the income tax, indirect tax, public sector economics and finance. Every paper has withholding taxes. You cannot ignore it because your day-to-day taxes include withholding taxes, right? Then gifts and realization is also another area, and students usually forego this area, and that's why they fail. That's one of it. So things like capital allowance, these areas I've listed, they are conked every night. They come. It will come. If you like, don't learn it, you go and come back. So these things they are conk every time. Then we come to the next model, which is where we focus more on corporate tax liability. So when it comes to CIT, corporate tax has many branches. Okay, so we have computing taxes for merchandise entities. When we say merchandise entities, we mean companies that produce to sell or buy to sell, right? So producers, wholesalers, retailers, all those ones are under merchandise entities. These are entities who have cost of sales. So sales minus cost of sales, gross profit. Then you have what? Operating expenses, then net profit. These are merchandise entities. These are the common type people know about it. Then we have other types of questions, like what we call compliance type questions. Questions where somebody has defaulted, or somebody has what? Try to evade taxes or avoid taxes, and then we have to compute penalties and compute. It's like a tax health check. Then another regular feature is insurance entities. We learn how to deal with insurance entities. Then we learn how to deal with banking businesses. We learn how to deal with retirement funds. Are not a regular feature, but you must know them to be good with employment income. And then on their own, just like trusts, they are not a regular feature, but they are still there. You must know them. Okay. Then charities, and then clubs and building and friendly societies. Then finally, learning how to deal with external companies, or what we call permanent establishments. So this is a very big area. Then this area, to a lot of people, do not have strength today. They are used to add back profit before tax, add back, but they don't know that tax. We have two main ways of computing taxes. So you see a student where they never gave you net profit, he will work the whole thing, get the net profit, and start adding back, which is a waste of time. I mean, some things. Then the next model is about people say employment income, partnership. No. In your CIT syllabus, it is known as personal income tax. So we have corporate income tax and we have personal income tax. Personal income tax includes employment income, dealing with sole proprietors who have businesses, or dealing with an individual with businesses, including what we call presumptive taxation, right? And net worth taxation. Then we have partnership and taxation of partners, dealing with double taxation relief, or what we call foreign tax credit. Then we have what we call presumptive taxation and various exam techniques. So basically, this is the whole syllabus in its entirety. However, because of your day-to-day life as a tax practitioner, things like tax administration are still here. The Revenue Administration Act can be examined here. Anything in tax is still examined, even tax ethics, they can ask you here. So that's why I tell you that the papers are not supposed to be learned in isolation. So literally in the class, I'm going to just pressure you to pass. That's my routine. All right. So this is about the advanced taxation practice syllabus. According to profs, this is how we do our stuff, right? Throughout the whole tuition period. Yeah, so that was a brief about what we should be expected.
Okay, great. Can we now proceed to final level 1?
Yes, please.
Colleagues, we are very sorry about the time, but we'll be finishing very soon. So for final level 1, we'll start with paper 7.
Tax audit and investigation. Mr. Autry, please, are you around?
Hello, good evening. I'm here.
Yes, sir.
Great.
Good evening, everyone. And following through the earlier presentations, I just feel they've done a very great job, and they've even covered some aspects of what I want to discuss. Keeping in view the time left, I would want to be a bit brief than earlier expected. Tax audit and investigations, as the name suggests, is covering everything that companies go through when GRA officers visit them to have a tax audit on them. However, tax audits also transcends the normal GRA visits, where we have some investigations and some form of activities audit related that can be carried out on various taxpayers. Tax audits and investigations goes through the normal process of auditing, where we have to plan, then you move into an execution phase, and you subsequently move into a completion stage where you do your reporting and other related activities. Our course will be well structured, looking at first the foundation and the framework of tax audit and investigations. We'll be looking at the ethical and legal framework of tax audit, the audit process, as I mentioned, planning, execution, and completion, and also some investigative aspects of tax audits. As I said earlier, we are not going to limit ourselves on just the tax audit aspect, but Also, in relation to this course, there are other related investigations as well. Now, someone would ask, our course is CITG, and we have various courses. Why do they have a tax audit paper that singles out as encompassing all other things? The tax audit paper is very stubborn, and it will feel so simple by its look, but in its entirety, it really means a lot. It has bit of every other course. So I reckon Boss Bill and Boss Ima made mention of the fact that VAT, withholding taxes, basically runs through everything. Tax audit now takes sight of every other course and is very practical. Those of us with GRA would attest to the fact that during tax audits, you then have to face a lot of issues that are specific to every taxpayer. Having said that, if we can move to the next slide. Okay, so as I mentioned, tax audit begins with planning. So we have what we call pre-contact procedures or pre-audit research, where before you go out to do a tax audit, you basically plan. And that is where the team does its risk assessment. So through these risk assessment, there are a lot of procedures that you could carry out to be able to identify risk about whichever taxpayer you are going to have the audit on. So the team sits back in their office, do their internal research with records to documents available to them that the taxpayer had already filed, with external information on their regulators' website, wherever they can find information, plan and know the taxpayer they are going to audit. And if you are going to do a tax audit and you fail to plan, it means that you are actually going to fail. So planning is a very key aspect. And after you have done all the needed work at the office, after the planning, then you have to meet the taxpayer. GRA normally do an introductory letter, which is being sent to the taxpayer to make them aware of the activity of tax audit that is going to be carried out. In meeting the taxpayer, they start by an entry conference. And after the entry conference, that's where they get to meet the taxpayer, have some discussions. At the planning stage, the auditors might want to maybe familiarize themselves with the taxpayer's office. So they might be doing some visits. They might tour the business of the taxpayer. They might have conducted some initial interviews. But the entry conference breaks the bridge between planning and field work. We enter the world of field work, where we gather audit evidence. And management, in doing their business, had put in place internal controls. So every company being set up, management envisages some risk that affects their business. And in envisaging those risks, they put in place policies and procedures to mitigate how those risks are affected by the business. So they put in place what we call internal controls. And these internal controls, as auditors, we go in to check whether they are actually working. So we do some walkthrough tests and all that. So you'll be covering all those bits of internal controls, right? And there are some control procedures that management put in place, which as auditors, we have to ensure that those control procedures are working. The basic example I normally give is let's just take a pharmacy setting where you have someone taking money from the pharmacy and the same person selling the drugs and the same person banking the money. At the end of the day, if there is some sort of theft, you can't identify it. So management, being afraid of the risk of theft, will put in place an internal control of segregation of duties by ensuring that management employ two other people. Whilst the main person does the sale, the other person records and the other person banks the money. In this way, management internal control of segregating the duties at the pharmacy ensures that the risk that they envisage, which is theft, is no more actionable, or it's being mitigated. Moving away from internal controls, please, the next slide. We move on to the fieldwork stage where normally tax auditors gather a lot of evidence. So in terms of audit evidence, there is this key mantra that an audit evidence must be sufficient and appropriate. So we will delve into the meaning of sufficiency and appropriateness with various scenarios, equipping us with the necessary skills as auditors to identify which audit evidence is sufficient and appropriate. And in doing this, we are going to use audit procedures in gathering our audit evidence. And audit procedures is one of the topics that every sitting you would have questions hovering around audit procedures. And we are going to help you assimilate what it means to put together audit procedures by making you understand what audit assertions are. So we are going to have a bit of time discussing that. Then, in gathering your evidence, you realize that you can't gather the evidence in your head because work not documented is work not done. So you document this work in your audit working papers, and also in gathering these audit evidence in your working papers, you need to employ some skills. So we do some form of sampling, we do some form of data analysis. Now we are in the AI world. As Boss Bill showed us, the site gives way for you to explore AI. So now auditors are also equipping ourselves to use AI tools to gather audit evidence, which is very, very helpful. Now, after you've gathered all your evidence, you end the field work, and GRA will say you would normally send a proposed adjustment. The audit team comes back, put together a draft report, and sends to the taxpayer. And at that time, we've gotten to the reporting stage where the audit team puts together what it gathered from the tax audit. And after the reporting stage, there can be issues of objections and appeals, which will go through the dictates of the law, what the law says about the objection process. And now that we have the appeals committee fully functioning, that also comes to play. Now, let's veer off tax audits. Or before we veer off tax audit, there are also some key areas that we can move to the next slide. There are also some key areas that we are also going to consider. We are going to look at the VAT Act, like a snapshot of the VAT Act, because they are going to be covered in other courses. However, tax audit, you need to know every area of tax. So we are going to do some overview coverage on that. We are also going to look at Act 915, the Revenue Administration Act. We're also going to look at the principal enactment 896, where we are going to delve into some areas and explain to students what it needs to perform a tax audit in those areas. We're also going to look at things like the tax computations, where you are purely dealing with CIT. We are going to look at customs and all that. We also look at indirect method of taxation, which will be applicable to entities that formally do not prepare financial statement, or you are unable to use the normal way to assess them for tax purposes. So there are a lot of methods, indirect methods. You have the net worth, the markup methods, the unit methods, and all that. So we are going to delve into those areas. Just to end, tax audit and investigations that not only concern tax audits. We also have the site that talks about investigations. So you are going to look at investigative techniques like forensic audits, due diligence audits. We are even going to talk about data mining and some other investigative techniques. I think the future is exciting with tax audit and investigations. Let's get on board, join the profs team, and this is going to be a success. Thank you very much. I hand over now.
Thank you, Mr. Prince Otri. Boss Bill.
Yes, sir. So we move to oil and gas taxation. Madam Abigail.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hope we are all doing well.
We are doing fine
So
by grace.
far, so good. We thank God. So, as the name implies, the name of the course is Oil, Gas, and Other Minerals Taxation. So at Prof Training Solutions, looking at what we'll be doing with respect to this course, we'll be segregating them into two main sections. So the first section, or let me say the first couple of weeks, we'll be dealing with the oil and gas, and then we'll move on to the minerals taxation. Now, these two sections are highly specialized. So we need to first of all delve into the dynamics of the courses. So with respect to oil and gas, we need to understand the technicalities, and with minerals as well. So looking at the presentation slides, we'll be looking at petroleum and then crude oil. So the oil and gas in its natural state is called the crude oil. Okay, and basically it is found beneath the earth's surface. It's been a number of years, so it goes through certain processes, then it begins to form either oil or gas, and sometimes you can even find saline water or salt water. So we'll be delving into how they are all formed, and then we look at certain terminologies like the reserves and the reservoirs and all that. But then we'll also delve into the next topic, which is the pricing of crude oil. We need to know how they are priced. But before we move further, I would want us to know that when it comes to the oil and gas sector, they are divided into three main sections. So we have the upstream sector, we have the midstream sector, and then we also have the downstream sector. The upstream sector, this is where we deal with the extraction of the oil. The midstream sector is where we deal with the refining of the oil, and then the downstream is where after the end products have been obtained, then we'll deal with the sales and then the distribution. So pertaining to the Citg professional paper, when it comes to this course, we are mostly focusing on the upstream sector of Ghana, even though theoretically students can be examined on the midstream and then the downstream. But when you take a look at the computation questions, it's mostly about the upstream sector of Ghana. So with the pricing, we are going to be looking at certain reference pricing that these oil and gas operators would look at. So worldwide, there are so many reference pricing that they use, but there are three main worldwide reference pricing that they use. There are certain types of oil like the Brent crude, the West Texas Intermediate. So operators will just use them as a reference price, and then they make an adjustment based on certain relevant costs that they have incurred. Then again, this sector also has unconventional means of account methods. So there are two main accounting methods. We have the successful effort accounting method, and then we also have the full cost accounting method. But that will all depend on the angle that you are coming from. So basically, with the upstream sector of Ghana, like I said earlier, it mainly deals with the extraction of crude oil. So obviously, before one would be given the mandate, or an operator will be given the mandate to be able to tap into a certain reservoir in a specific area, certain license will need to be acquired. So we call it the exploration right or the exploration license at the exploration stage. Then when the operators have been able to identify whether the oil exists or not, so let's say all other things being equal, the oil exists in commercial quantities, then they can move on to develop the field. It is at this stage that the operators will then begin to install certain machineries, dig certain wells. So when we say well, meaning that they'll be boring certain holes deep beneath the earth surface so that they can be able to prepare the field to be able to tap into the oil. And all these processes would be featured in the type of accounting that the operator would want to look at. Then we also have depreciation, depletion, and amortization. So when it comes to accounting, we all know that depreciation deals with the wear and tear of physical assets. Amortization will deal with the intangible assets. So as we are dealing with the natural resources, that will be dealing with the depletion. So in an instance where, let's say, an oil and gas field has been tapped into such that there's no more oil and gas, then we would say that such a field's resources are depleted, meaning that the reserves have reduced in value. They no longer exist. So the petroleum operations in the next point is what I was talking about, that there are three main worldwide sector operations. That's the upstream, the midstream, and then the downstream. So right now that we've gotten an understanding of the technicalities, we also need to look out for the legal framework, the regulatory framework. Remember, the natural resource is a highly efficient sector in the sense that it brings in some form of revenue to every host government worldwide. So it is a sector that if it is not really regulated, then it's more or less like the citizens of that particular host government may not be benefiting from. So there are so many legalities when it comes to the oil and gas sector and even the mining sector. So with the upstream sector like this, the Petroleum Commission regulates such a sector. With the midstream and then the downstream, it is the how do you call it, the National Petroleum Authority that also regulates such a sector. But when we come to fiscal regime, because the oil and gas sector is a joint venture, meaning that two or more operators come together to operate a field or to operate on a field. Of course, with the presence of the host government, of which in Ghana is the GNPC, that is always the representative of the government of Ghana to every petroleum operation, or let me say to every petroleum agreement. So in that case, when it comes to the fiscal regime, we will need to look out for how the benefits and then the costs are going to be shared amongst the operators. And worldwide, we have 3 but 4 main fiscal regimes. So in terms of how the host government would want to enjoy its benefits, its needs, that would then determine the particular fiscal regime that the host government would want to go by. The next slide, please. Okay, so we've already talked about fiscal regime. Now let's look at petroleum revenue. So like I said earlier, the natural resource sector is a sector that rakes in a lot of revenue to every host government. So we will need to look out for the respective sources from such sector. And this is also applicable in the mineral sector as well. So there are so many oil and gas revenues. We can have the royalty. So royalty is levied on the gross production, even though the operators will still be producing the oil and gas, they would also be levied some form of royalty. It is levied on gross production. And then we could also have the corporate income taxes because they would definitely need to be paying some form of taxes. We could also have the surface rental. So depending on the area that they are operating from, they would be levied some form of rental charges. Now, as the name implies, petroleum revenue management. So in as much as the revenues are coming in, of course, the host government will need to know how to manage these petroleum revenues, the kind of investment that the host government would want to undertake, even against the kind of certain expenditures that would need to be undertaken. So that is what we are going to be learning when it comes to the petroleum revenue management. So when it comes to unitization and redetermination, it's more or less like a technicality in the oil and gas sector. So pertaining specifically to the upstream sector of Ghana, in an instance where, let's say, 2 or 3 operators are operating on different oil fields, but then depending on the nature of the crude oil, remember the crude oil is found beneath the earth's surface, so depending on the nature of the crude oil, the oil could be moving from one block to the other. That is what we mean by unitization. So this will trigger a unitization in the sense that in an instance where contractor A, perhaps the crude oil, the barrel is, let's say today is about 1 million barrels. The next day is now switching to about 900,000 barrels. And then depending on where they are and the kind of research that they have undertaken, they could realize that the crude oil beneath the earth's surface is moving from one block to the other. So when it happens like that, it could trigger a unitization so that all the operators will come on board and then they will all pool their resources to be able to operate. Now, the unitization can either be triggered by the host government or it can either be triggered by the operators themselves. So an instance is the ENI and then the Springfield unitization issue that came on board some years ago. Then, in as much as the oil and gas is also a joint venture, of course, we need to look out for how the oil will be distributed among the beneficiaries, specifically the operators and then the government of Ghana. So that is where the distribution of crude oil comes to play. We also have stability agreement. So stability agreement is also another technical concept in the oil and gas sector, specifically the upstream sector. So in an instance where the operators have come on board, they have agreed on a certain quantum, certain percentages that they will need to be shared, they will need to be benefiting, amounts of payment that they will need to be paying to the host government and all that. And then let's say this year, government comes out and say that, oh, I'm going to increase royalty, let's say from 5% to 10% because the oil and gas, specifically the upstream sector, is booming. So when it happens like that, that is where stability agreement comes to play. It's a form of agreement such that it seeks to protect the interest of the operators from any adverse subsequent legislations or laws, because movement of 5% to 10% means that there's going to be an outflow of extra 5%. So if indeed the petroleum agreement that existed before this kind of policy came to play, meaning that they would be protected from paying the 10% because of the stability agreement. So it seeks to freeze any kind of adverse laws or any kind of subsequent law that is likely to have an adverse impact on the operators. The next slide, please. Okay, so now we are going to be delving into the oil and gas sector with respect to taxation. So like I said earlier, we need to first of all delve into the dynamics of the sectors, understand the technicalities, and that will help us to really understand the tax in relation to such a sector. So basically, I would just want to chip in that when it comes to the oil and gas sector, it's a joint venture. So every petroleum operation would definitely be having 2 or more contractors. The question that I would want to ask is, how would these contractors be taxed? Is it that after the oil is produced and then looking at the quantum of the oil, deducting all the expenses and all that, then they would then divide it among themselves? Or how do we go about it? So in tax, when it comes to the oil and gas sector taxation, every contractor is treated separately for tax purposes. So at the end of the day, when the crude oil is distributed, the quantity that every contractor or operator is assigned to, that becomes the basis for the computation of the revenue. And then even in terms of cost, depending on the proportionate sharing interest, they will need to assign the cost to each of the contractors, and then they can be able to tax thereon. We also have capital allowance, which is in place of depreciation. We've already talked about exploration and development. We've talked about the separate petroleum operation, which is just the one that I just mentioned earlier on. And there are other issues pertaining to the taxation aspects of the oil and gas sector. Please, the next slide. Okay, so this is going to be our last slide. Now, one thing that I would want us to take note of is that when it comes to the oil and gas sector and then the mining sector, they are similar, and then there are a few differences as well. Okay, so then again, we would also be delving into the dynamics of the mining sector of Ghana. We need to know how it works. Also need to know their regulatory framework. The Minerals Commission of Ghana regulates such an industry. Okay, we also need to know in terms of taxation, this aspect also have the separate mineral operations, like the way in oil and gas, we have the separate petroleum operations. So then again, when it comes to mining, mostly what happens is that one entity operates in the mining field. Mostly one entity operates in the mining field, but then they would be having several processing facilities depending on the kind of fields that they are operating on. So when it comes to the oil and gas, it is the contractors that will be treated separately for tax purposes. But when it comes to mining, because it is one entity that mostly operates on one field, what would bring about the separate mineral operation is basically where that particular mining entity is having a processing facility. So it would depend if they are having a shared processing facility, then fair enough, they would then need to assess that mining entity as one. So depending on the circumstance, and then we'll get to know how we'll be able to tax these mining entities. So we also have other similar provisions. So like relevant financial cost, the way it's treated in petroleum is the same as how it's also treated in, how do you call it, under mining. When it comes to approved rehabilitation fund, the approved rehabilitation fund is also the same as that of petroleum when it comes to the decommissioning fund. I didn't mention it earlier on. So at the end of everything, let's say whether the mining field or whether the oil and gas field, the reserves are depleted in the oil and gas. And then when it comes to the mining field, let's say for instance, gold, the gold is also depleted. What happens next? So what happens is that the operators cannot leave the site and go. They will need to uninstall the machinery, at least restore the site back to a normal state, because there will definitely be some digging, there will definitely be some installation of machinery. So that is where the rehabilitation and then the decommission with respect to mining and petroleum comes to play. A certain fund is set aside that at the end of the operation, everything would be okay. So basically, I think that is what we are going to be doing in our oil and gas and other minerals taxation. I hope you all come on board and then we all learn together. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you, Madam Abigail, for the great presentation. Hello, Boss Bill.
Hello. Yeah. Can hear you.
Okay. Madam Ruby, I've seen your question. Madam, please summarize. I don't get it. Please come again.
She meant it was longer, so she should just give us a summary.
Okay.
All right. So that was it for oil and gas. Now comes international tax. International tax, basically, I'll be very brief. It's quite a lot. Okay. So a big area in international tax is mostly around transfer pricing, right? Or what we call the taxation of international transactions. So what you have to know is that transfer pricing is a process. It's a process of pricing goods and services and property between what we call persons in controlled relationship or what we call related parties, right? So as pricing, pricing differs. How much you sell your goods is different from how much somebody will sell. But there's supposed to be a standard where the tax authorities will know that what you are doing meets the arm's length standard, or what we call the open market values, right? Fair value, as we call it in accounting. So we have to know about the arm's length principle. So there are various sections, like when you visit Article 9 of the OECD or UN model. Okay, you visit the Blue Book, which is the transfer pricing guidelines. You visit our LI 2412, that's our transfer pricing regulations, specifically Regulation 2. You have to look at the arm's length standard, and it is used worldwide, right? So we have to look at how to apply the arm's length standard. We must know the financial and commercial relations, which are 5 comparability factors. We must know about government policies and how they affect prices, custom valuations, assembled workforce. We must know M&E or multinational entity group synergies. These are factors, things like understanding the concept of tested parties, arm's length range, There are so many things. Testing, all right? Quartiles. These are so many principles that you have to know in understanding the arm's length principle. Then from there, you must know how transfer pricing methods work. So there are 5 methods in our law that you have to know. Now, they mostly examine specifically the transfer pricing regulation. So you have to understand the cap method, comparable and controlled price method. You have to know the cost plus method. You have to know the resale price method, which is mostly used in marketing and distribution functions. The next is to look at the transactional profit method. So we have what we call the transactional profit split and transactional net margin method. All right. So once you understand them, you must know how to select the most appropriate transfer pricing method for whatever scenario you have been given. So something like the cap method can be used so far as they are relevant comparables. Okay. For instance, if you are giving loan to somebody and you want to know the rate to price the loan, you can get banks everywhere to know how to price the loan, right? Or what interest rate to apply because there's relevant data. If you want to buy shares, it's easy to go to the stock exchange and see how to price the shares using similar companies, right? So when there's available or reliable data, it's easy to use something we call the CAP method. From there, we come to cost plus. And the cost plus is where you take your direct and indirect costs and just add a particular markup or profit to it. And this is mostly used for service entities and then manufacturing or joint manufacturing or contract manufacturing agreements. Then we come to resale price, which is used in mostly marketing and distribution functions where little or no value is added before transferring. Then we have what we call the transactional net margin method. And this one, we usually transfer profits. So you are looking at the net profit level where you use a base. Okay, so if you are working in a manufacturing entity, then you know that cost will be the base. If you are working in maybe a sales or distribution function, then you know the sales will be the base. Okay, and so on and so forth. And you have to look at the strengths and weaknesses of a method for a particular transaction before you choose it. Then we must know what we call comparability analysis. We must know how to ensure comparability because comparability is central to the application of transfer pricing or the arm's length principle. And in your exam, mostly comparability analysis is where they tell you to generate a preliminary transfer pricing report. So we'll come and look at intangibles and intra-group arrangements. These are areas which are a bit complex. I think last night, for the very second time, they brought intangible assets. And I told people to look at it. They thought I was joking. It came. Then we have financing arrangement. When you are giving loans to people or taking loans, how are they priced? Then what we call cost contribution agreements. So let's say a couple of us want to cook, those childhood days. We come together, we put money together, right, to cook. That's an example of cost contribution agreement. So the one who brought more is supposed to get more. So let's say that if this lady brought a cauldron, which we call that the same, right? So she brings a cauldron. She also brought money. I believe if we cook the food, she's supposed to get more because she brought money and she also brought a cauldron, right? That's how these things work. So we have 2 types of CCAs. We have what we call development CCAs and what we call service CCAs. So if a group of accountants, lawyers, and practitioners come together to do some sort of project for somebody, at the end of the day, whatever comes, based on their costs and their contributions, we share. And they have transfer pricing implications. And we have what we call restructuring. When businesses restructure, definitely they'll transfer some assets, some goods, some services to some of the people within the group. And when that is done, there's a need to know how to price those things. Either you are using a traditional system of restructuring where you just transfer normal things, or you are using a contemporary or modern approach to restructuring, right? So these are some of the things that you see. Then we move to transfer pricing documentation. So before, we used to have a 2-tier documentation for transfer pricing, the local file and the master file. But now, based on BEPS Action Plan 13, they've introduced a 3rd tier, which is what we call the country by country report. So you need to know how the country by country report functions. I think 2 nights ago, the country by country report came, which actually the excluded multinational entity principle, which you see under the transfer pricing regulations, especially under the interpretation. It came, and a lot of students couldn't answer that. From there, you have to understand anti-avoidance provisions, which include areas like harmful tax practices and preferential tax regimes, tax havens, and all of those other areas, and international tax planning rules. Okay, so this area is a big area before you come and look at DTAs. So the next area is about double taxation and its connecting factors. Before you pay tax twice, that means two things have affected you. Either you are a resident in one country and the other country is saying that, look, this guy made money in Ghana, but he's a resident of the UK. So you need to give Ghana a share of the revenue, right? As a resident of the UK too, you need to pay tax. It causes double taxation. So there are two connecting factors that cause double taxation. We call them the principle of residence and the principle of source. So the principle of residence says that you will be taxed on worldwide income so far as you're a citizen of a particular country. And the principle of source says so far as your money comes from a source in my country, you must pay tax. Then we come and look at methods of relief from double taxation. So there are various methods of relieving people from double taxation, right? So the first way is that if you want to relieve somebody, we can use the double taxation agreement, which we call the bilateral methods, and we have what we call the unilateral way. The unilateral way is where we use the principles enshrined or embedded in the tax laws themselves. Okay, then you look at various methods. So there are two main methods and other ones. So we have what we call the credit method, where the tax that you paid in a foreign country is given as a credit against your full tax liability. And we have the exemption method, where the income that you brought from the foreign country is completely exempted from tax because you've paid tax on it already. Then we have deduction method, where you get a deduction for any tax that you paid. Okay. And then finally, we have what we call the pioneer relief or tax sparing relief, where the foreign taxes are spared in your country. Then we have double taxation agreements. We'll look at everything about DTAs, what they are, whether they are binding or not, and all that. Then we look at how to get treaty benefits, whether you are a member of the treaty state, you are a resident of either state, and the tax that you are claiming is not any tax that is exempt, or it's a tax that is in the DTA. These are some of the conditions. Then stages in the life of a DTA. Every DTA starts with what? Negotiation, initialization. We will sign the treaty. It will be ratified by Parliament. We will exchange notes. It will enter into force, and finally the effective date where everybody can start using it. That's the stages of the DTA. Then we learn how to terminate DTAs. Okay, DTAs can be terminated automatically. So when you look at every DTA, it itself has termination channels. We call it formal termination, where a 6-month notice is given. But apart from that, if you breach provisions in a DTA, or you can't perform something the DTA says it can lead to termination. Then we look at the model tax conventions and the various sections of a DTA. Then from there, we come to the taxation of income, right? But before that, we look at various definitions, which include residents, PEs, the digital economy, business income, employment income, passive income, and other income. Please, are we okay? So residence is a key area that you must understand. Without it, residence and permanent establishments, without it, you cannot pass international taxation. If you learn the whole syllabus, if you don't master residence, you will fail. If you don't master, because these areas alone can come for up to 45 marks in the exam, or even 50 marks. There are diets where residence alone can take about 25 marks. Permanent establishment can take about 40 marks. It will be spread across because it can be applied under transfer pricing. It can be applied everywhere. All right. Then the digital economy. We all know that now the gig economy is rising, right? The content creators, all these things, right? So you must know where somebody has physical presence. And usually we maintain this through a computer server, where the server is located, and human intervention, right? We use all that. You must understand the concept of business income and Article 7. We'll look at employment income and Article 15, passive income rules. So Article 6, immovable property. Article 10, dividends. Article 11, interest. Article 12, royalties. Article 12A, specifically in the UN model, which we call fees for technical services or managerial fees or whatever you call it. And then finally, Article 13, which covers capital gain. So these are articles around passive income, and they come relatively often. Then other incomes like pensions and government service, artists and sportsmen, there are other things we look at, right? And those are the ones that you see here. So at least a sportsman. So if Sarkodie goes to perform in the UK, how will his income be taxed? Teachers and students. If you're a student and then you are in the UK and then you are working part-time, will that income be taxed? If your parents send you money and you are in the UK, will that income be taxed? If you are doing internship, will that income be taxed? If you're a teacher or a professor and you move from here to another country and you are working, how do we deal with such income? How do we deal with directors' fees, directors' allowances? If you open a shipping and air transport business in Ghana, like an airline, okay, or you operate a ship in Ghana, how is it taxed? These ones, they are mostly exempt based on reciprocity. So we call it reciprocity in taxation. You do me, I do you. So if government of Ghana, if that country, that person operating the shipping business in Ghana is from the UK and UK gives the same exemption to Ghanaians, then they are also exempted. Then we have special provisions like exchange of information, mutual agreement procedures, and non-discrimination. We call this mutual assistance in tax matters. So this is where the tax authorities of various countries come together and, help each other out. Then we have what? Assistance in the collection of taxes, okay? So I mentioned it last night together with these teachers. That was the last thing we did, and I believe they popped up. I mean, it wasn't that bad. Then finally, we learned various exam techniques. Like if you are not so sure, if you're a student whose head is even dead, there are techniques you can use and still make the best bet out of the papers. I mean, they are not so difficult, right? But if you don't learn, you fail. That one there, I'll tell you, everything requires patience and practice. You can't just wake up one day and say you make it. No, don't hunt for questions. Strive to become the best and you will see success. All right. So that's the little I wanted to share. This was the last one. And that was it for international taxation. Yeah. So we are done.
Thank you, Boss Bill, for that submission on international taxation. So looking at the time, we've gone way past the duration of the program. So Council, if you are there, let's hear from you, your experience with Prof Training Solutions.
Oh,
your
Prof
full
Training
name,
Solution. Is that?
Your full name, boss.
Oh, my full name, Prof. My name is George Jackson. You know my full name, sir.
Okay.
Prof Training Solution is just a one-stop center. So please, I will encourage all candidates that whatever they teach you, you just listen and practice. I'm a testimony for Prof Solution. I got higher marks, and it's just one first attempt. I got a 3 papers. Second attempt, I got a 3 papers. And when you go to Prof Training Solution, you should have in the 80s and the 70s, please. The pass mark is above 80 and 70s. So if you don't do well at all, then you get a 68 or a 65 or 64. But you know that whatever they teach you, you will use it in your exams and you will use it in your daily lives. Because I'm a testimony, I'm using it now. That even session 30 to 34 in the RAA, also in the Income Tax Act, we use it daily, which is helping us. Section 40 to 44 of the RAA, we use it daily in our lives. And also in the Income Tax Act, when you go there, all the sessions, they will let you understand the taxing regime of Ghana and beyond Ghana. So I entreat all candidates that please listen and let practice. That is all you need to know. Listen, you learn, and you practice. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Bakope. Okay, thank you very much, Boss George. So at this point, I think this is where we'll end the presentation. If you have any other question, we are ready to take your questions. Madam Ruby wants to know how she can get the materials over to Kumasi. She lives in Kumasi. Boss Bill.
Yes, so we do deliveries to every part of Ghana. No matter where you are, so far as car can go there, definitely we can arrange. So there's somebody was asking for the price of the study materials. It depends on the level. So for final level 1, the study materials go for 250 each, with the exception of international taxation, which goes for 300. Okay, that's because the book is packed. My books come with question banks in the book as well, and they are full of questions, over 500 questions. It's even too much. I'll have to reduce it subsequently. They are exam focused with the mind of the examiner. And then final level 2, the same prices, but they have been, it depends. I think the price is going up to 280 for each, with the exemption of advanced taxation practice, which goes for 300. But I'll tell you, they are worth it. They are self-tutoring. If you stick with the book, there's no way you are failing. That, by God's grace, can be guaranteed. All right. So we can deliver anywhere for you. Those who are asking for when the class will start, the class starts on 1st October, and the class is very intensive. I will stress you to pass. My team will stress you to pass. So if you are ready to pass, you can just sign up. But 1st October, classes are starting. Very intensive. So we offer intensive exam-focused classes, which will make you an all-rounded professional as well. So Uncle Ato, please, you can carry on.
Okay, thank you, Boss Bill. So colleagues, I have shared the timetable for the February 2026 diet in the chat. I've also shared the link for registration. So if you have decided at the end of this pre-tuition orientation session to register with us, please go to the chat. You'll find the registration link there. Complete the registration and you are on your way to succeed. Okay, so before we end the session, I want to quickly take closing remarks from my big bosses. That is the tutors who are currently online. Madam Abigail, if you are there, I would like to take your closing remarks. What do you have to tell our prospective students online at the moment? Madam Abigail.
Okay, hello. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, please, I can hear you.
Okay, so the little I want to add is that professional course is not like the way the academic courses behave. You need to have an open mind. You need to be willing to learn, as Boss Bill said. You need to be solving more questions. You need to be having some group studies. And you need to be sacrificing more time so that you can be able to pass. That's what I wanted to add.
Thank you very much, Madam Abigail. Mr. Prince Autry, your closing remarks.
All right, thank you. So I believe we've covered a lot today, and this is a testament to the fact that we are going to deliver on top of our promise. However, majority of the work also would lie with the students. We are going to push you to study. We are going to give you all the needed support to pass. You should also show some interest. In as much as we push you more than expected, the other side of assimilating whatever had been taught also comes from your end. So we at Prof are ready to support, ready to give you that 150% support. We also urge you to put your dedication on the line, and also with your support, you are going to pass. And it's always been success stories with us, as you can see. We look forward to having you, and do have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prince Autry. Next is Anchor Johnson. If you can hear me, your closing remarks.
Thank you, Uncle Ato. I will also add that what we have gone through is based on the principles. So once we have the principles at our fingertips, applying them becomes very easy, and that will sail us through. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle Johnson. And finally, to the Oga Kwata Boss Bill.
Yeah, Uncle Ato, thank you for the words so sweet. So I would encourage everyone to just put in the effort to sign up with Profs Training Solutions and experience the miracle works of God. Here, God is all we have. We are here, we are patient, we are here for you every step of the way. So as it was said, we day for you, okay, every step of the way. And also you can encourage your friends and family who are interested to take the ICA professional qualification and the CIT professional qualification up. We are there for them every step of the way till they become professionals. And even after, we have the biggest alumni community to help you, and we run regular trainings to promote you to become the best of the best, okay, to become part of the wonderful family. So I encourage all of you to start as soon as possible. Why not now? Start now. All right. So, Uncle Ato, that was a little I had to share. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Inshira, your question. Please, can't anything be done about final level 1 papers? What exactly do you want us to do about final level 1, Inshira? If you can unmute and clarify this for me, I'll be grateful. Please, can't anything be done about final level 1 papers? Okay, so...
Okay. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
Actually, this is my first time of joining Prof tuition, and I think I've communicated with Prof. I started communicating with him. I even got his books already. I've bought the books from him already, and I'm going through gradually. And I intend to join his tuition too for February sitting. And the timetable for final level 1, I realized that Saturday is very packed from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Then the next one starts from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And myself, for instance, I'm doing an MBA course with another institution, which is also a weekend program. So I don't know how I'm going to carry the two, but I'm also so determined to kickstart the Citg. So I'm just looking at how I'm going to blend the two. Maybe if the timetable can be moved to maybe afternoon or evening, just like the Wednesday's paper. That is what I was asking for.
Okay. The good thing is that the lectures are recorded and made available to students on our app. So if for any reason you are not able to join the live session, you would always have access to the recorded session for the diet. I need to clarify that. The recordings are for the diet. So once the diet ends, your access to the recording ends.
Okay. So I think that will be very helpful. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
God.
you.
Okay. Benjamin wants to know how much is a soft copy of the book. Boss Bill, if you can take that for us.
Okay, so the soft copies, it depends on the website, how much is on the website. If you buy a lot of the books, you get a discount though. I told you when you buy more than 2 items on the site is configured to give you a 10% discount. But the soft copies, they go for 150 with the exception of international tax and advanced taxation practice. All of them go for 150.
Okay. Thank you. So we started with God and we want to end with God by praying. And the person to offer the closing prayer is no other than our lead tutor, Boss Bill.
Let us pray. O Heavenly Father, the miracle working God, the one who is higher than any height, the one who is deeper than any depth, and the one who is longer than any length. Your humble servants are before your throne of grace this day. We thank you so much for a fruitful meeting. Lord, you have truly delivered as the partner of partners of Prof Training Solutions. This day, I want you to take charge, O Lord, in the lives of all our participants and grant them the goodwill that you have granted us and grant us the spirit to participate in whatever we will be doing and the spirit to tell of your good works through Prof's Training Solutions to the whole world. I pray that you give them the financial help, you give them the blessings and the breakthroughs through this meeting for them to see that you are truly with us. Your grace is truly with us. And just by this meeting, let new doors open for them and let them wonder which kind of people we even went on the meeting with. Tell them the grace that you have given us, Lord. This day we pray you bless us and make everybody have a peace of mind because you are the true peace giver. Give us peace that whatever we do will be in honor of you, to even change people to come and follow you, our miracle working God. You have never disappointed me. You said wherever I turn, I prosper. And anybody who meets me, his or her life will never remain the same. Father, I bless your name and I thank you as you take us very far into the midst. We thank you once again and we bless your name this day. We thank you once again and we'll keep thanking you till the end of our lives. We bless your name once again in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Thank you all for your time. Before we depart, please take note of the following. This is the number of our Student Success Coordinator, 024 981 6412. I take it again, 024 981 6412. And you can also reach out to us on profstudymate.com. Thank you and good night.